The woman woke up, feeling sore all over, as if a truck had run over her body. This pain was clearly from excessive card playing. Who can type out this Chinese character in the comments? I'll wash my hair while doing a handstand. Thinking of this, he suddenly sat up. Only remembered being called by boss Chen Rui last night to accompany him for entertainment. Amidst the lights, both of them drank a lot. In the end, they actually ended up sleeping with the boss. Instinctively turning their head, the person lying beside, wasn't it boss Chen Rui? This alcohol really isn't anything good. Thinking the man hasn't woken up yet. Tiptoeing out of bed to look for clothes. Hurry to slip away. Looking at the dress that cost $2,000 in hand. Thinking about how crazy last night must have been. Thinking the boss has so many rumored girlfriends. There should be women's clothes in the closet, right? But after searching frantically, found only men's clothes. Just when they were frantically wondering what to do, suddenly from behind came, "Don't look anymore, I live alone. There are no women's clothes." It scared them so much their heart almost stopped working. Turning around, saw the mosquito bites on the boss's body were particularly noticeable. Still their own handiwork. Loudly questioned why he tore her dress. Couldn't he be more normal? Chung Rui lazily and roguishly said, "You mean, you want me to review your crazy behavior from last night in detail?" As soon as he finished speaking, he came to their side naked. The woman saw something indescribable. Her face instantly turned as red as a steamed crab. Embarrassedly quickly put on Chung Rui's shirt. Took out the wallet from the bag, pulled out money, said last night was a blur, don't remember anything. This is too little even as a tip for last night. This is all there is. Consider it compensation for my unreasonable behavior last night. After speaking, regardless of whether Chen Rui agreed or not, ran away as fast as possible. Left Chen Rui confused, wondering if this girl knows how to write the word shame going out like this. Will our boss let his little wildcat go? Lying naked in someone else's bed, accompanied by waves of tearing pain, he slowly opened his eyes. Discovered it was actually his boss's photo. The woman sat up in horror. Lying beside was the cold-faced, black-hearted big boss. She was also confused. Only then remembered accompanying the boss for business negotiations yesterday. Accidentally got drunk. Then forcefully hugged the boss and started playing cards. Jiamei instantly turned red with embarrassment. Did I let myself go with the boss after drinking? She quickly got out of bed to find her clothes, found them completely torn apart. How crazy must it have been to tear the dress like this? She searched the closet for a long time, but couldn't find any clothes. Suddenly, a voice scared her into a cold sweat. "Jiamei, don't look anymore. I live here alone. There are no women's clothes." Jiamei saw the lipstick marks on the boss's chest. "Oh my God, is this my handiwork? Was I that wild?" She went forward to question the boss. "Why did you tear my clothes? That was half a month's salary." The boss looked disdainful. "You mean, you want me to describe your wild behavior from last night in detail?" Then lifted the blanket, standing naked in front of Jiamei. "Come on, let me demonstrate again." Jiamei's face instantly turned red, not daring to look directly at him. "Boss, please put on some clothes first. I think it's time to get dressed. You're the one who's afraid of catching a cold, right? Go put on some clothes." Jiamei put on a shirt, then took out a stack of cash from her bag. "Boss, you were drunk last night. Don't remember anything. Just pretend nothing happened. This money is compensation for last night. Please don't think it's too little." Chen Rui thought, is this hush money? She thinks this small amount can settle things after sleeping with me? Is she stupid? Then Jiamei quickly ran away. Arriving downstairs, this place felt familiar. Could it be her ex-boyfriend's neighborhood? Suddenly a voice called, "Jiamei, why are you here?" Such a familiar voice. What she feared most happened. Jiamei turned to her ex-boyfriend. "Good morning." At this moment, wearing a man's shirt with obvious hickeys on her neck, she calmly said, "Just dropping my girlfriend off at work." Waking up to find herself in the CEO's bed. Must have gotten drunk last night. Did we let ourselves go wild? Jiamei awkwardly tried to slip away. By coincidence, she ran into her ex-boyfriend and his rich girlfriend, thinking back to the promises they made years ago. In the end, this scumbag broke up with me for his own interests. Thinking about it now is laughable. I was too naive and foolish then. Meeting like this now is quite awkward. The rich girl said sarcastically, "Miss, you're dressed quite coolly. Maybe cover up your neck. It's embarrassing for others to see." Jiamei boldly replied, "This is love's mark. My dear gave me his stamp, proving I'm his person." The scumbag X said jealously, "When you were with me, I never saw you this open." Just then, the boss arrived in his luxury car. "That's because you couldn't satisfy her. Without saying anything, he went forward and acted mischievously. Why do you tell everything to others? Jiao Mei was both surprised and happy. You're so bad, but I like it. Then the boss hugged Jiao Mei and said, sorry, our Jiao Mei just loves showing affection in front of others. This unsubtle little habit. I'll have to scold her when we get back. The rich girl recognized him as the wealthiest young master of the Chung family in Jiang City. The scumbag X felt even worse and left directly with his girlfriend. Jiao Mei got into the boss's car. Seeing them all, the boss got out. Jiao Mei immediately asked, President Chung, are you here to inspect? Do you think your current outfit is appropriate? You might not care about being posted online, but my company still needs to maintain its image. Jiao Mei angrily said, Boss, can't you speak nicely? Must you always be sarcastic to feel good? Soon the boss bought some clothes. Jiao Mei was shocked seeing the price tag. This is several months of my salary. Embarrassedly said, I'm just a small employee. You're buying such luxury brands? I can't afford to repay you. The boss continued teasing. You could afford hush money. How can you not afford branded clothes? Such a sharp-tongued man. Jiao Mei was about to change clothes. The boss grabbed her. Are you stupid? Don't you see the car windows are still open? Jiao Mei was embarrassed. She was so focused on him, she forgot about the open windows. Her mind really wasn't working. After the spring night, Jiao Mei's mind was filled with thoughts of the boss's attractive figure. Looking in the mirror, she smiled secretly. Chen Rui had good taste. The clothes fit perfectly. Luxury brands really do feel different when worn. Soon Jiao Mei arrived at the office. Her roommate Xiao Li immediately asked where she went partying last night, not coming home. Feng Jie, standing nearby, saw her branded clothes and said they must all be knockoffs. Jiao Mei ignored her. I heard last night's client was difficult. Did you get the contract signed? Jiao Mei directly lifted her clothes, showing them the hickeys on her body. Xiao Li exclaimed, Did the client take advantage of you? Jiao Mei whispered in her ear, I got drunk last night and accidentally slept with the boss. Xiao Li was so shocked, she spat out her soy milk. She praised Jiao Mei for becoming the boss's lady in one leap. Jiao Mei awkwardly replied, Well, I gave him 1,000 yuan afterward. Will you hit me? Xiao Li exploded. Did a donkey kick your brain? In all of Jiang City, countless people want to be the boss's girlfriend. You actually paid him and left? Did you think he was some male escort? The silly Jiao Mei just smiled foolishly, imagining the boss as a male escort. Soon the boss came to the office. All the girls had flirty expressions except Jiao Mei, who looked disdainful. Chen Rui walked straight to Jiao Mei, adjusted her clothes, and said, Image is the most important thing in PR. Then he lowered his head and said, Come to my office later. Jiao Mei suddenly became the center of attention. Xiao Li teased. Maybe the boss wasn't satisfied last night and wants another round in broad daylight. Jiao Mei also felt it would be awkward after last night's intimacy. She opened the door with a smile. Smells good. Such a keen nose. Are you a dog? Hearing this, Jiao Mei could only force a smile. What did you need, President Chung? Chung Rui pulled her in. He took out a homemade lunchbox. He teased. Considering how hard you worked last night, this nutritious meal is to help you recover. Jiao Mei didn't refuse and started eating. Soon Jiao Mei finished and got up to leave. Suddenly Chung Rui grabbed her. He pushed her onto the sofa. Was he going to make a move? The CEO pushing his mistress down in the office in broad daylight? Jiao Mei was at a loss. She blushed, eyes wide as if expecting something. However, CEO Chung Rui just took out a napkin and said, Girls should always mind their image. Should we revisit last night's romance? Jiao Mei angrily pushed Chung Rui away. Are you sick? Speechless, she turned and left. Chung Rui smiled mischievously. What a little wildcat. Jiao Mei stormed out of the office furiously. She immediately told Xiao Li what happened. Xiao Li's eyes were full of envy. You two are so sweet. Seems you performed well last night. Keep it up. Jiao Mei's eyes were red with anger. Suddenly the phone rang. The screen showed 3 words. Chun Jianan. Jiao Mei answered the phone with a puzzled look. The scumbag was already waiting downstairs at the company. Jiao Mei walked up to him. Why are you looking for me? We have nothing between us anymore. As she turned to leave, the scumbag quickly grabbed her. Xiao Mei, when I broke up with you, did you hate me? Jiao Mei shouted angrily. You think too highly of yourself. Say what you need to say. What's going on between you and that guy this morning? What else could it be? It's exactly what you saw. My business is none of your concern anymore. The scumbag immediately begged. Xiao Mei, I've always loved you. Once my company gets through this crisis, I'll break up with her immediately. Can we start over? Jia Mei immediately delivered a kick to his groin. Are you even a man? The scumbag fell to his knees in agony. Jia Mei angrily hit him. I must have been blind to fall for such a shameless person like you. The scumbag was covered in bumps, crying, I really do love you. Jia Mei said more angrily, get lost. Then she turned and left gracefully. The scumbag left reluctantly. Meanwhile, Cheng Rui witnessed everything from the window. On her way back, Jia Mei got increasingly angry and smashed her phone on the ground. I must have been blind to fall for him. The phone landed on a passerby's foot. Coincidentally, it was CEO Cheng Rui. He immediately embraced the tearful Jia Mei. It's okay. From now on you have me and the company. The mistress tried every way to get into his arms, sending a loving lunchbox every day, creating chances for accidental encounters. He stood by the window, witnessing the entire meeting between Jia Mei and the scumbag. He knew his chance had come. Now Jia Mei angrily threw her phone on the ground. It landed right at Cheng Rui's feet, creating another perfect encounter. Jia Mei looked at boss Cheng Rui with teary eyes. Why are you here? Then wiped her eyes and said thank you. Just as she was about to leave, Cheng Rui grabbed her, held her tight in his arms. That scumbag doesn't deserve your tears. Jia Mei suddenly felt so warm. That night, lying in bed, Jia Mei thought about how she gave up everything to be with that scumbag, only to be cheated on, and now she might soon have nowhere to live. She sighed at life's drama. Better find a place to live first. At that moment, a drunk man suddenly broke into Cheng Rui's mansion. Cheng Rui angrily pushed Gu Tingyu away. How much did you drink? Go take a shower now. After showering, Gu Tingyu found the torn dress. So there was a woman. Cheng Rui snatched the dress. None of your business. Gu Tingyu persisted. How desperate were you to tear the dress like this? Is she beautiful? Does she have a good figure? Cheng Rui was furious. He beat him up, and Gu Tingyu quickly knelt down begging for mercy. Cheng Rui stood aside thinking, holding the dress. After waking up that night, I wanted to tell him I'd take responsibility, but he gave me hush money instead. Did he really think I was just a male escort? The next day, Jia Mei had a fever. She lay listlessly on her desk. Her roommate Xiao Li thoughtfully brought her medicine, but Jia Mei refused to take it like a child, afraid of the bitter taste. Just then, the supervisor brought some documents for Jia Mei. Take these to get the CEO's signature. Jia Mei was extremely reluctant. Why me again? Can I not go? Reluctantly, Jia Mei went to the CEO's office. She was stunned by what she saw. A beautiful blonde woman was embracing him. Could the CEO also be a playboy, having fun with girls during work? And his beloved woman just happened to see it. Jia Mei was embarrassed and turned to leave. Sorry, boss, I didn't see anything. Please continue. I ruined the boss's moment. Will he fire me? The boss immediately called out to Jia Mei. It's not what you think. The beauty beside him recognized her college classmate Hao Jia Mei. Jia Mei was also surprised. You're Cheng Fei. They started chatting about old times, completely ignoring the big guy. Cheng Rui is my brother. I came to ask for his help. Jia Mei was speechless. Are you sure he's your real brother? Yes, despite his good looks, he has a terrible temper. Jia Mei forced a smile. If Cheng Fei knew I slept with her brother, how would she react? Then Jia Mei stood up to leave. Suddenly she felt dizzy. As she was about to fall, Cheng Rui caught her. He softly asked, Are you okay? Jia Mei's face turned red instantly. She thought, he's so handsome. Chen Fei noticed something between them. Jia Mei shyly said, I'm fine, just a little cold. Brother, as a boss, you should show some kindness and give your sick employee some time off. With that, Cheng Fei prepared to take her to lunch. Jia Mei awkwardly asked, Why is so? Huchen coming too? Cheng Fei joked, My brother? He's the money bag. Might as well use him. The three arrived at a health food restaurant. Brother, I want meat. Who wants to eat leaves here? Cheng Rui turned and replied, Jia Mei is sick. It's better to eat light food and less meat. Jia Mei smiled slightly. It's okay. I want meat too. Cheng Rui suddenly turned sly, gradually asking, Seems like that bowl wasn't enough. How much are you willing to pay for meat this time? Jia Mei suddenly realized the meat he was talking about definitely wasn't the same meat she meant. Bastard pervert. This seemingly innocent girl had actually slept with her friend's brother. The next day, they acted as if nothing happened, accompanying his sister to lunch. The sister noticed something between them and teased Jia Mei with a mischievous smile until she was speechless. The brother came to the rescue domineeringly, giving her a big punch. Stop talking nonsense. The sister looked wronged. Love really makes you forget family. During their chat, the sister learned Jia Mei was looking for a place to stay. She immediately invited her to live together, and Jia Mei happily agreed. After the meal, the sister left early, leaving the two of them to their private world. Cheng Rui immediately seized the opportunity. Here's cold medicine for you. Take it quickly. Jia Mei smiled and replied, It's too bitter. I don't want to take it. Cheng Rui smiled foolishly, but it's not bitter. Jia Mei immediately changed her expression. Not bitter? You're treating me like a child. Why don't you try it yourself? Chen Rui immediately opened the bottle cap. He smiled foolishly. I'll show you by taking it. Suddenly he embraced and kissed Jia Mei. Little wildcat, is the medicine still bitter? At that moment, Jia Mei's mind went blank. The sudden display of affection scattered everywhere, leaving only the editor to silently endure. Cheng Rui caressed Jia Mei's face and said, Next time if you don't take your medicine obediently, I won't mind feeding you this way. Back at home, Jia Mei stared at the medicine in her hand, wondering about its taste. Even children know medicine is bitter. However, Jia Mei recalled, Why did the medicine CO Chang fed me taste sweet? Thinking back to what he said, Jia Mei finally realized, Bastard, he clearly took advantage of me on purpose. A few days later, Jia Mei moved in with Cheng Fei. Jia Mei was very happy. Such a nice house, I love it so much. As Jia Mei was organizing her clothes, Cheng Fei noticed a man's shirt. Is this from that jerk? You're still keeping it? Jia Mei panicked. No. She thought how awkward it would be if she knew the shirt was Cheng Rui's. Cheng Fei teased. This is a luxury brand. Must be a rich guy. My brother loves this brand too. Jia Mei shyly grabbed the shirt. This shirt is my father's. Cheng Fei smiled slightly. Who would believe that? Meanwhile, Cheng Rui called, Come downstairs. I'm moving to the apartment opposite yours. Then the two went downstairs. Jia Mei helped Cheng Rui move his things. CEO Cheng, why leave your mansion to live in a small apartment? Chen Rui immediately cornered her in the elevator. Are you saying you don't want me as your neighbor? And as neighbors, what kind of sparks would fly between them? Just move to a new home, only to find the neighbor is the CEO boss. As soon as they met, Chen Rui cornered her in the elevator. We're neighbors now. He held Jia Mei and said, Shouldn't you take care of your new neighbor? Jia Mei was confused. How should I take care of you? Cheng Rui smirked. You know how. Jia Mei suddenly exploded, hitting him with a box. You're such a pervert. Didn't that money that night settle everything? Cheng Rui remained calm. Jia Mei turned away, ignoring him. Leaving the elevator, Jia Mei realized, You're actually living right across from me. Cheng Rui coldly said, Do you have a problem with that? Jia Mei forced a smile. No problem, CEO. With your money and power, I wouldn't object even if you bought the whole building. Cheng Rui stepped forward, lifting Jia Mei's chin. Yes, I have money and power, but I'm missing one thing. Jia Mei was confused. What are you missing? A warm companion, of course. Jia Mei was very unhappy. What do you take me for? After moving in, they went to a hot pot restaurant. Cheng Rui thoughtfully asked Jia Mei what she wanted to eat. Jia Mei awkwardly replied, It's hot. I'll have something cool. Thinking the boss might be showing too much concern for her. After the meal, Jia Mei prepared to take the subway home. Cheng Rui wanted to go with her. Jia Mei angrily asked, Why don't you drive your own car? You want me to drive drunk? Why don't you drive? Jia Mei smiled awkwardly. Never mind, I'm a terrible driver. Cheng Rui smirked. How about I teach you how to drive when we get home? Jia Mei looked puzzled. Cheng Rui added, Cars need to be driven regularly. Skills must be practiced. Remember, practice makes perfect. Jia Mei was speechless, seeming to understand something. She retorted fiercely, Who wants to learn driving from you? I'm already good at it. Just after showering, she stood on the balcony daydreaming, her graceful figure looking particularly enchanting. Old Chen next door happened to see her. Can't sleep late at night, thinking about me? Dressed so coolly. Are you showing off your 34A figure? Jia Mei angrily replied, I'm clearly 36C. At this moment, Cheng Rui looked smug. Jia Mei immediately covered her mouth. Oh no, tricked by the boss again. Cheng Rui, you're such a pervert. At this time, Tingyu came out. Little Rui, who are you talking to? Cheng Rui pushed him away. This girl is wearing so little. Don't let him see. Jia Mei looked confused. Little Rui is so passionate. Could CEO be? Jia Mei quickly covered her mouth and said, CEO, my lips are sealed. I promise not to reveal your secret. She immediately turned and left, leaving Cheng Rui standing confused in the wind. The next day, Jia Mei came to the company. The supervisor praised her publicly and encouraged her to keep working hard. Behind her, Phoenix was full of jealousy, turning to gossip with other colleagues. She's just a green tea bitch, definitely seducing our CEO. She must have already slept with him. Otherwise, how could she get such special treatment? Unfortunately, Jia Mei overheard it, so it was her slandering me behind my back. Jia Mei angrily pushed open the door, clenched her fists, full of killing intent. The three tried to maintain composure. What are you looking at? Jia Mei stepped forward and slapped her hard, distorting her face. Phoenix was furious. How dare you hit me? Jia Mei retorted fiercely. I hit you because you deserved it. Phoenix lunged at her. Even my mother hasn't hit me. Who do you think you are? Why are you two just standing there? Get her! The three of them beat up Jia Mei. Suddenly, CEO Chen got into a fight for a junior employee. He saw Jia Mei was injured. He immediately scolded everyone. Do you think the company is a marketplace? All of you, get to my office now. He angrily questioned the supervisor. The quality of your subordinates is really something. The supervisor was too scared to speak. Then he turned to ask everyone, what happened? Who hit first? Jia Mei pointed at them and said, CEO, they were saying behind my back that I seduced you, so I hit them. Hearing this, everyone froze. However, Cheng Rui grabbed Jia Mei's hand. They gazed at each other lovingly. Let them talk. Doesn't your hand hurt from hitting them? Then he ordered the supervisor to fire all three of them. He added menacingly, the company doesn't keep idle people. The two went to the office. Cheng Rui thoughtfully applied ointment for her. Jia Mei couldn't help but let out a hiss. It hurts. Cheng Rui tapped her head and scolded. Now you know it hurts? Didn't hear you complaining when you were fighting. Jia Mei retorted, you think I wanted to? They said I was seducing you. Cheng Rui looked down at Jia Mei. Weren't you? Jia Mei stammered. Who's seducing you? You're the one who's been seducing me all along. After bandaging, Cheng Rui wanted to make Jia Mei his secretary. Jia Mei looked at him with disdain. I won't do it. It's even more dangerous with you. Cheng Rui was sad. I'm trying to protect you, okay? Soon after, Jia Mei walked out of the office smiling. Xiao Li teased. You've become famous overnight. Everyone in the company knows about your special relationship with the CEO now. So you really did sleep with CEO Cheng. That's why you get special treatment. Jia Mei was speechless. Why are you joining in on the gossip too? That night, Jia Mei and Cheng Fei returned home together. They found someone in the house. Could the wealthy CEO have turned into a thief? Sneaking into a neighbor's house late at night, Jia Mei went up and grabbed him. Cheng Fei immediately went to call security. Then Jia Mei saw the man's face clearly. CEO Cheng, it's you? I thought you were a thief. Cheng Rui was angry. Are you a dog? Biting everyone you see? Jia Mei asked with teary eyes. CEO, did it hurt when I hit you? Cheng Rui replied helplessly. What do you think? Since you hit me, shouldn't you compensate me? Jia Mei felt guilty. How should I compensate? Cheng Rui went in for a kiss. Just then, Cheng Fei returned with security and caught them in an intimate moment. He exclaimed surprised, Bro, it's you? Both laughed nervously. Then Cheng Rui turned to question them. Why are you two drinking so late? Don't you know how dangerous it is outside? He quickly left, but not before warning Jia Mei. Stop hanging out with Feier so much. Don't let him corrupt you. Feier teased Jia Mei. What unspeakable things were you two doing? Jia Mei turned away embarrassed. Nothing. I'm gonna take a shower. Late at night, Jia Mei drowsily looked at her phone. Someone added her. I hate hush money. Could this nickname be Cheng Rui? Meanwhile, Cheng Rui happily looked at his phone. She's smart, she knows it's me. Then he messaged her saying he left it on the coffee table. Remember to apply medicine. Jia Mei stared at her phone. Why is he so nice to me? Protecting me at work during the day. Meeting secretly in the living room at night. Could he really like me? The next day at the company, Cheng Rui quickly checked her injuries. Why did it get worse? He immediately pulled her to go to the hospital. Jia Mei quickly said, no need, I applied medicine. It might be better tomorrow. Cheng Rui gave her a sharp look. I won't say it twice. It's just a scratch. But the CEO forcefully took her for a checkup. Unexpectedly, her leg was also affected. They found the hospital director's friend, but were told to queue up for registration. Cheng Rui took out his phone. Want to bet one phone call could cost you your job? The man immediately changed his attitude and came forward to examine the young lady. Nothing serious. If you're worried, we could take an x-ray. They both responded at the same time. Jia Mei said no, but Cheng Rui insisted yes. They stared at each other. Don't forget there's a single person here. I just ate. Don't want to eat more dog food. You know Chung Rue's temper. Better do as he says. Soon after, they took the x-rays to the doctor, who told them it was fine, just need some medicine. Then they left. Chung Rue followed Jia Mei asking, "Why not take the elevator?" Jia Mei smiled. "The elevator's crowded. Stairs are faster. You've been out so long. There must be lots of urgent matters at the company." Chung Rue smirked. "You're so thoughtful. Perfect to be my better half." Jia Mei looked disdainful. She quickened her pace. She accidentally slipped. Chung Rue immediately grabbed her. They fell down the stairs together. Jia Mei fainted. Chung Rue was very worried. "Please be okay." He quickly carried her back. His friend was bewildered. "What happened?" "You left walking. Now you're back horizontal." After settling Jia Mei, his friend asked, "Is it because she's also called Jia Mei?" Before he could finish, Chen Rue interrupted. "I know what I'm doing." His friend patted his shoulder. Friendly reminder, don't dig yourself into a hole like last time. Chen Rue said he understood. Soon Jia Mei woke up, surprised to see her leg in a cast. "I've become the CEO who turned into a full-time caretaker, taking care of all the patient's needs." Jia Mei shyly looked at her boss. "I need to use the bathroom." The boss didn't hesitate, ready to carry her. "You can't move well. I'll carry you." Jia Mei nervously clutched her clothes, but we're different genders. Chung Rue didn't mind. "What? Now you're shy." "You weren't shy when you pounced on me that night." Jia Mei awkwardly replied. "That night's in the past. Will you remember it forever?" Chung Rue whispered. "Yes, you need to take responsibility." Jia Mei got annoyed. "You're a man. You didn't lose anything. I'm a young girl. You should take responsibility." She fell right into his trap. "Fine, I'll take responsibility for life." Baby's heart aches, but baby won't say. After returning, Chung Rue said he'd personally care for her. "We've done the most intimate things anyway. Nothing's inconvenient anymore." Jia Mei pushed him away. "I don't want that. I'd rather hire a nurse." Chung Rue calmly replied, "With your salary? You won't have money left for food if you hire a nurse." Jia Mei angrily said, "How dare you say that? It's all because you capitalists exploit us." Chung Rue gently held Jia Mei. "My baby, only I can take care of you. No one else can touch you." Jia Mei was like someone struck by Cupid's arrow. Her heart kept beating rapidly. Just then, Chung Fei arrived. "Jia Mei, are you badly hurt?" Jia Mei quickly replied, "It's nothing. Just need some time to recover." Chung Fei whispered to Jia Mei, "What were you doing with my brother just now?" Jia Mei blushed. "Nothing. Your brother just brought me to the hospital." Chung Fei was happy. "Really? My brother really cares about you. You'll soon be my sister-in-law. Since my brother's taking care of you, I can rest assured." He prepared to leave. Soon after, Chung Rue brought dinner. "Eat up. It's a customized healthy meal." Then he personally fed Jia Mei. Jia Mei felt very uncomfortable after drinking and didn't want any more. This made Chung Rue very angry. "Hurry up and drink this nourishing soup. Don't keep testing my patience. You'll regret it if you do." Then Chung Rue took a sip and fed it to her mouth to mouth. He held her chin. "Little wildcat, now you can drink it, right? It's too late to refuse now." Is this what it means to be a domineering CEO? A small employee of the company had an unspeakable encounter with the boss after drinking. However, I didn't have any feelings for him, but the boss kept pursuing me. During my illness, the boss took meticulous care of me. My attitude towards him changed. As luck would have it, a colleague saw us. I feel helpless. Now everyone in the company probably thinks I'm with the boss. But Boss Chung Rue doesn't mind. He even hugged me and took me out to relax. "With me backing you up, what are you afraid of?" I was extremely reluctant, but my legs weren't working well. Outside, others enviously thought he was my husband. Come to think of it, he is quite excellent. If he really becomes my Prince Charming, I guess I could reluctantly accept that. Looking at others' ice cream. "Chung Rue, I want ice cream too." "It's too cold. You can't eat it." "Are you stupid?" "My leg is injured, not my taste buds." "You're impossible. Wait for me." He's really a tough guy on the outside, but soft-hearted. "I didn't know which flavor you liked, so I bought two." "Thank you." "Chung Rue, let's eat together then." "I don't want to. Only girls eat that. I'm a grown man. I won't eat it. Let's see if you eat it." I forcefully fed the boss. I didn't expect it to be so delicious. This is my first time trying it. However, the next morning when I woke up, he was sleeping in my bed. This is so embarrassing. This is a hospital room. "Chung Rue, get up. Why are you shouting so loud? Can't even sleep. Why are you sleeping in my bed?" "You fell asleep in the wheelchair last night, so I carried you to bed. You didn't do anything inappropriate to me, did you?" He even teased me. What kind of things? Making love? Damn you, Chung Rue. You beast. I'll throw this at you. Chung Rue quickly dodged, but it hit the hospital director's face instead. Mrs. Chung, you're being too beastly. The young lady is still injured. How can she handle such activity? Everything needs moderation. She's recovering well and can be discharged. Just rest at home and she'll be fine. I was so embarrassed I couldn't face anyone. But Chung Rue didn't seem to mind. He complained the director was too nosy. Remember to be careful with vigorous exercise after discharge. I wrapped myself tightly in the blanket. This is all your fault. It's so embarrassing. But he acted like nothing happened. Don't worry. Nothing happened last night. Even if I wanted to, I'd wait until you're fully recovered. Then he kissed my forehead and said, silly girl. If you're not willing, how could I ever force you? I thought to myself, is Chung Rue confessing to me again? How Jimei coincidentally ended up living with her boss, but discovered he was involved with the company's secretary. Late at night, the two of them were in the same room. They wouldn't be doing something inappropriate, would they? I quickly snuck to the door to eavesdrop. I can't believe I'm doing something so sneaky. I wondered if I should knock. If I saw something I shouldn't, wouldn't that be awkward? Suddenly I lost my balance. I fell down. My heart was pounding immediately. This is not good. I had to act calm. I just came to ask if you two want dinner. The boss immediately picked me up. Don't run around with your injured leg. This girl is actually worried about me. After seeing the secretary off, he came back to find me. What were you sneaking around the door for earlier? Why didn't you just come in? I didn't want to. What if I interrupted your moment? I'd be the bad guy. Are you jealous? I blushed immediately. Who's jealous? He hugged me and explained that she was just there to report work. I remained stubborn. Who asked for your explanation? Put me down. What if the housekeeper sees? He continued carrying me downstairs. You've already been in my bed. Why worry about this? Soon after, I recovered well. The doctor told me I was fully healed. Just as I was about to say goodbye to the boss, I ran into my ex and his wife outside. He had the nerve to show concern for me. Couldn't he see his wife was angry? Then they started showing off their affection. But seeing my ex still made me sad. Seeing this, Chung Rue immediately embraced me, helping me save face. Then I pulled him away. Back in the room, I cried loudly. After all these years, I still couldn't let go. I'm so useless. Chung Rue walked in. Jimei, why are you so pathetic? What's the point of crying alone? I stood up to argue. Then what should I do? Can't I even cry? He gently wiped my tears. There are plenty of good men out there. Why hang yourself on one crooked tree? Open your eyes and look, there's one right in front of you. Why not cherish him? I asked confusedly. Chung Rue, do you like me? He looked down at me. Why else would you think I'd spend so much time taking care of you? Everything I've said and done for you has been sincere. I replied, crying, but I don't have the courage to love again. The handsome and wealthy tycoon was actually rejected, and he was desperately asking for another chance. He eagerly promoted himself to her. Handsome, sweet-talking, rich, and great at cooking. The woman told him she needed time to think. The man hugged her contentedly. I'll definitely show you my sincerity. The next morning, Jimei went to work in sweet attire. At the door, she met the boss. Chung Rue, get in the car. From now on, I'll drive you to and from work every day. Jimei was surprised. No need. I'm used to taking taxis. Chung Rue handed her a bottle of milk. From now on, I'm your driver. Available anytime. When you're tired from work, come rest in my office. Jimei sighed. Boss, I'm going to work, not to enjoy leisure. Why don't you become my secretary? Then you can openly slack off. Jimei was speechless. You're quite a boss, encouraging employees to slack off. Chung Rue just laughed silly. He looked down at Jia Mei and said, since I'm so good, shouldn't I get a reward? Before she could react, Chung Rue leaned in. Jia Mei exclaimed, Chung Rue, you're openly taking advantage of me. Chung Rue, having gotten his way, playfully asked her to return the favor. Jia Mei shyly got out of the car. At the company, the supervisor asked her to help with the product launch event. Jia Mei happily agreed. The mall was hosting a fashion show. Jia Mei was in charge of greeting guests. Suddenly, the supervisor found her. A model sprained her ankle. Quick, go try on the outfit and replace her. Jia Mei hesitantly agreed. However, in the changing room, she was speechless. It was a bikini set. By then it was too late for Jia Mei to escape. After a while, Jia Mei emerged in snow-white attire, feeling shy. Her colleagues praised her repeatedly. Jia Mei felt awkward, waiting nervously backstage. Her pure and elegant appearance stunned everyone as she walked out. She cast a charming glance, but then she ran into him. Chung Rue immediately gritted his teeth. Jia Mei broke into a cold sweat. Just then, an tactless manager came over. Chung, I like this model. Introduce us. Let's hang out. Chung Rue smiled coldly. You want to know? The man foolishly nodded. What followed was a beating from Chung Rue, ending with, my hands get itchy when I see people with loose mouths. Jia Mei was shocked, having never seen him like this before. Chung Rue pulled Jia Mei down from the stage, held her firmly in his arms, covered her with his own jacket. Glancing at the man behind, he fiercely declared while holding Jia Mei, she's my woman. Jia Mei's eyes filled with love. Chung Rue looks so handsome fighting for me. Pinned firmly to the ground, no amount of resistance helped. Her voluptuous figure was incredibly alluring. However, the man didn't go further, just warning her never to wear such revealing clothes again. The woman complained, why are you so controlling? Do I need your approval for what I wear? The man became angry, warning this was the last time. Then he turned and left, leaving Jia Mei alone in thought. Suddenly, a stranger embraced her, seeing her beauty, and wanted to invite her to chat at a hotel. Chen Rue grabbed his arm. She's my woman. You're not worthy to be with her. The man was thrown hard to the ground, crying in pain. Jia Mei watched the handsome Chen Rue, thinking that took too long. Chen Rue came to check if she was hurt. How, Jia Mei? Can't you be more careful? You attracted attention in just a moment. Jia Mei looked at him with disdain. No, it's because you left me earlier. Chen Rue angrily pulled her along, planning to deal with her properly when they got back. Jia Mei looked confused, not knowing what she did wrong. The two sat in the wooling car preparing to go back. Chen Rue couldn't help stealing a glance at Jia Mei. Don't peek. I'm about to change clothes. Chen Rue immediately blushed. Now you're feeling shy? You weren't embarrassed when everyone was watching you on stage. After their argument, Jia Mei was so angry she bit him. Chen Rue pulled her out of the car. He left angrily by himself, leaving Jia Mei alone again. The sky wasn't kind either, as it started to rain. Rain-soaked Jia Mei felt sad, crying as she ran in the rain, thinking I'll never talk to him again. Suddenly, someone grabbed her. Looking pitiful, she turned around. It was Chung Rue. Jia Mei angrily pushed him away. Didn't you abandon me? Why are you back now? Then she wiped her tears alone. Chung Rue stepped forward and held her tight. It's all my fault. But do you know how angry I was seeing others looking at you lustfully? Jia Mei pouted and humphed. She shyly moved closer and bit his lip. This is punishment for abandoning me. This made Chung Rue shy. Hugging Jia Mei again, he said, this punishment isn't enough. Need more. Jia Mei hugged him tightly too. They kissed in the rain, unwilling to part. Scene changes, they arrived at a restaurant. Soaking wet, Jia Mei complained, I'm not even hungry. Why are we at a restaurant? Chung Rue smiled. Women change moods faster than turning pages. You were just kissing me. Jia Mei explained loudly. That wasn't a kiss, it was a bite. Chung Rue stroked her hair. If you like biting so much, you can bite me all you want after we shower at home. Jia Mei realized she'd fallen for this playboy's tricks again. Then Chung Rue leaned in and asked, what are we now? Jia Mei pulled his tie, looking at the shy Chung Rue, saying of course it's the domineering so falling for me. She sold herself for a meal. The next morning, she woke up in the CEO's bed. Confused, she hit her sleeping boss, but he just hugged her tighter, wanting her to sleep more. Then Jia Mei took control. She pinned the boss down, smirking at him. Chung Rue blushed immediately, thinking they would make love again. But Jia Mei just asked why they were sleeping together. Chung Rue was speechless. Last night, he brought a loving dinner. After Jia Mei finished eating and was about to leave work, Chung Rue carried her out of the company. On the way home, Jia Mei fell asleep. So naturally, he brought her home. Jia Mei felt awkward, not remembering anything. Chung Rue pinned her down again. You slept like a pig. It's no wonder you don't remember. Jia Mei pushed him away. Then what about my clothes? Why am I only in underwear? Chung Rue calmly replied, I was just being considerate, taking off your outer clothes so you'd sleep more comfortably. Jia Mei freaked out, but couldn't do anything about it, because she had started to like him too. She even started swooning over him at work, still savoring last night's happy moments. Suddenly, her ex-boyfriend messaged, asking to meet that evening. Jia Mei immediately refused, but the jerk stopped her after work. Jia Mei said this would be the last time, after which they'd have nothing to do with each other. Then she got in the car and left. Little did she know Chung Rue saw this scene. He immediately had his driver follow them. It turned out the ex wanted to cooperate with Chung Rue's company, so he came to ask Jia Mei for help. Jia Mei refused immediately. Unexpectedly, the ex played the emotional card, bringing up their past together. Jia Mei got even angrier and threw her drink in his face. As she turned to leave, the ex wouldn't let her go. Suddenly, a kick flew in, hitting the ex in his weak spot. The ex collapsed instantly, crying out in pain. It was Chung Rue coming to the rescue. Holding Jia Mei, he threatened the ex fiercely. "If you dare harass my girlfriend again, I'll make sure you can never have children." Jia Mei looked at Chung Rue. "Why are you here?" Chung Rue replied nervously, "If I hadn't come, someone would have bullied you." Jia Mei looked at him shyly. "Wow, my Prince Charming is everywhere." Then Chung Rue asked the ex if he had any other business, saying they needed to go home to exercise. He looked lovingly at Jia Mei and asked, "Right, dear?" Jia Mei happily agreed. After they left, Chung Rue angrily asked, "Did I interrupt your reunion with your ex?" Jia Mei scoffed. "Yes, you ruined it. Stop pretending to be my boyfriend. It's embarrassing." As soon as she said it, Jia Mei knew she'd said something wrong. How would she ask for forgiveness? To please the boss, she gave herself up. They got drunk and played a strip rock-paper-scissors game. The woman didn't win once, but kept insisting to continue. The boss was speechless, thinking she'd be naked if she lost again. The woman took matters into her own hands, sitting in the boss's lap, insisting he remove a piece of clothing. The boss still refused, so she switched tactics. She looked at him with a sweet smile, making him shy. Then she unbuttoned his clothes. "Such a good body. It makes me drool." The woman reached out to touch. "This feels so nice. Feels better than a bed. I'll sleep here tonight." Chung Rue looked at her drunk state. "If you want to sleep in my arms, answer one question. Do you like me?" Jia Mei looked at him lovingly. "Of course I like you." Chung Rue asked her to prove it. Jia Mei hugged him, kissing him here and there. Seeing he wasn't satisfied, she decisively climbed on top. "Is this enough?" Chung Rue was very satisfied and smiled shyly. Then he carried her to the bedroom, and they spent a pleasant night together. The next morning when they woke up, Jia Mei dressed up beautifully, preparing to attend her ex-boyfriend's wedding. Her date was, of course, Chung Rue, the richest man in Jiang City, handsome and wealthy, ready to show up her ex-boyfriend. Meanwhile, the jerk's wedding was in full swing. Just then, the two of them arrived. Their stunning appearance immediately became the center of attention, completely stealing the show, creating a stark contrast with the ignored ex-boyfriend. They then walked up to offer their congratulations. Jia Mei took the chance to show off their love, playfully punching his chest like a young girl. The two were completely lovey-dovey, not caring about others' feelings at all. After making everyone jealous, they happily walked away, leaving the ex to suffer silently. Then Chung Rue, while eating cake, asked if she felt uncomfortable. Jia Mei looked at him happily. "Today I'm officially saying goodbye to my past. I've completely let him go." Chung Rue caressed Jia Mei's face. "Since you've let go of your past, can I be part of your future?" Just then, a beautiful woman with long hair approached, calling Jia Mei by her nickname, Nan Nan. Jia Mei surprisingly responded, "Sister-in-law? How come it's you?" They chatted for a while. Then the sister-in-law pointed behind her. "Your brother is coming." Jia Mei turned around smiling. "Brother, long time no see." The distinguished-looking man before her was Jia Mei's brother. Jia Mei immediately showed her concern for him. Her brother complained teasingly, "You, the noble third miss, do you still care about me?" It turned out Jia Mei's background wasn't simple. Miss Jia had given up everything for love, only to be taught a harsh lesson by reality. The ex had cheated with a rich beauty and still invited her to the wedding. Thinking about how she had fallen out with her family for that jerk and ended up alone in a strange place, Jia Mei deeply regretted it. Meeting her brother at the wedding today, Jia Mei happily hugged him. She eagerly asked about her family and told him about her experiences. After hearing this, her brother was angry, scolding her for not contacting the family after the breakup. Then he joked, "Congratulations on your breakup." However, how could her brother tolerate his sister being bullied? He already had plans in mind. Just then, his assistant called him, and they temporarily parted. On her way, Jia Mei ran into Chung Rue. It turned out they knew each other already, but he didn't know he was Jia Mei's brother. They exchanged brief greetings. Then Chung Rue went to find Jia Mei. The wedding ceremony began. Chung Rue noticed Jia Mei lost in thought. He immediately comforted her. "I'll treat you well. Our wedding will be 100 times better than this." Meanwhile, Jia Mei's brother slowly walked onto the stage. It turned out he was the city mayor and was here to officiate the ex's wedding, taking this chance to get revenge for Jia Mei. He gripped the ex's hand firmly. The ex was sweating from the pain. Her brother took the microphone and gave a lecture, then turned to whisper to the ex, "Mr. Chin, thank you very much for taking care of my sister Jiamei before. I'll make sure to take good care of you from now on." The ex was so scared his legs gave out, and he collapsed onto the ground. Her brother dropped the microphone and left, leaving the ex making a complete fool of himself at the wedding. Jiamei was happy that her brother got revenge for her. She thought to herself, "My brother is even scarier than the devil Chung Rue." Then both of them said goodbye to Jiamei. Jiamei went to the bathroom to touch up her makeup. However, the ex wouldn't give up. He covered Jiamei's mouth and asked, "Is the mayor your brother?" Jiamei managed to break free when he wasn't paying attention. Then the ex tried to play on her emotions, wanting to get back together. He directly pushed her against the sink, saying disgusting things to Jiamei, still trying to fool her. Jiamei wouldn't fall for it again and slapped him away. The ex knelt on the ground, begging her to get back together. Now Jiamei fully realized he was just a complete scumbag. Just then, Chung Rue arrived. He knocked him down with one punch, warning him he'd beat him up every time they met. The bride happened to come by and saw this scene. Before she could speak, Jiamei played the recording from earlier. The bride immediately became furious. She grabbed the ex and beat him up. Jiamei came out with tears streaming down her face. Chung Rue caringly said, "Promise me, never shed another tear for such a jerk again." Jiamei hugged him and replied, "It's not because of him, it's because of you. You're too good to me." She stood on her tiptoes. They shared a deep kiss. She was firmly held down by her ex-boyfriend, unable to break free no matter how hard she struggled. Just as the ex was about to go further, Jiamei's current boyfriend arrived just in time. Without a word, he delivered a powerful punch. The ex collapsed immediately. Chung Rue warned him fiercely to stay away from Jiamei, threatening to beat him up whenever they met. Then he took Jiamei away. Seeing Jiamei upset, Chung Rue decided to take her shopping. They bought matching couple outfits. Then Chung Rue took her to watch a movie. But the movie was full of romantic scenes, making both of them feel awkward. Watching the passionate couple in the back row, Chung Rue became restless. He pulled Jiamei out. He laid her down in the back seat. Jiamei blushed, not knowing what to do. Chung Rue looked at her with a mischievous smile. Jiamei timidly asked, "What are you doing?" Chung Rue looked at her and asked, "Can I kiss you?" Jiamei didn't refuse. Then they shared an intimate moment. The next day, Jiamei went sightseeing with her brother. In the car, she realized she was being taken to a blind date. They arrived at the scenic area. The man thoughtfully bought milk tea. Jiamei turned to look at him. Chung Rue's image suddenly appeared in her mind. Just then, Chung Rue called. Jiamei answered and explained the situation, then hung up before he could respond. On the other end, Chung Rue was very angry, looking at his phone, unable to calm down. That night, the man confessed his feelings to Jiamei. But all Jiamei could think about was Chung Rue. She awkwardly replied that she already had a boyfriend. At night, Jiamei tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep. Checking her phone, there were no messages from Chung Rue. She knew she'd have to make it up to him. The next day, she saw Chung Rue but was completely ignored. They passed each other without a word. Jiamei asked him to stay for dinner. Chung Rue turned and left. She realized he was truly angry. Jiamei went to the company with a gift. She found Chung Rue, wanted to give him the gift. However, Chung Rue sternly asked, "Don't you know how to knock?" Jiamei put down the gift and expressed her apology. Chung Rue scoffed. "Are you trying to bribe your superior?" "According to regulations." Before he could finish, Jiamei darkly said, "I'm sorry, I don't know the rules." Then threw the gift in the trash. She turned and left crying. Chung Rue opened the gift and realized he had gone too far. He immediately ran out and embraced her. They gazed at each other lovingly. All misunderstandings dissolved. Then Chung Rue took her home. What happened next? The secret blind date was discovered by her CEO boyfriend. He threw her onto the bed to teach her a lesson. Loosening his tie, he said, "I've been too gentle with you. That's why you go on blind dates with others." Then he started unbuttoning his shirt. The woman asked fearfully, "What are you doing?" The CEO pushed her down and kissed her. Though resistant at first, after their interaction, Jiamei opened her heart to him. She became more responsive while the CEO continued persistently. Chung Rui seized the moment to confess, but Jiamei pushed him away. Crying, she said, "You ignored me and rejected my gift. How can I believe you love me?" Chung Rui held her and said, "You don't know how much I care about you. I can't stand others even looking at you." Jiamei blushed, realizing how much he cared. She leaned in and kissed him, expressing her love too. Chung Rui immediately vowed to love only Jiamei for life. Indeed, people in love are all the same. Jiamei happily agreed to be with him, and they fell asleep in each other's arms. The next morning, Jiamei caressed his face and whispered. It all felt so unreal. Chung Rui actually fell in love with her. He overheard this and got up to deepen the impression. They started getting intimate again, when suddenly his sister Chung Fei burst in. She looked at them in disbelief. Jiamei was also surprised, quickly covering herself with a blanket to explain. However, Chung Fei was delighted that Jiamei was finally with her brother. She suddenly got excited, saying now her friend had become her sister-in-law. Getting pocket money from her brother would be easier. Chung Rui and Jiamei were speechless. From then on, Jiamei spent hours talking on the phone with Chung Rui every day. They would chat until late at night before sleeping. This morning, Jiamei was still asleep. Suddenly, the door opened. It was Chung Rui. He quietly approached and kissed Jiamei. Jiamei instantly woke up, staring at him wide-eyed. "You rascal. How did you get in?" Chung Rui pinned down her hands. "Have you ever seen such a handsome rascal?" Then they started being lovey-dovey again. After a while, they went to the company. Jiamei took a separate elevator to avoid suspicion. However, Chung Rui grabbed her in front of everyone. He pulled her into the CEO's private elevator. Jiamei blushed, feeling awkward. But Chung Rui calmly said, "There's no need to hide being with my girlfriend." Looking down at Jiamei, he said, "If I can't protect my own woman, how can I be worthy of Jiamei?" Jiamei immediately hugged him, saying, "Chung Rui, I'm so lucky to have you." She received a priceless gift, a castle-like villa. Jiamei was overjoyed. "The scenery is so beautiful." Chung Rui hugged her. "You're the most beautiful scenery here." Jiamei's face turned red from his flirting. They couldn't wait to get inside. Soon after, people came to celebrate Jiamei's birthday. Jiamei happily accepted the gifts. Gu Tingyu immediately asked if Chung Fei had arrived. They were college sweethearts, and he wanted to reconcile during this opportunity. Later, Jiamei took her secretary to rest, leaving the three men to do the hard work. As the fragrant barbecue was ready, Chung Fei arrived. Gu Tingyu prepared to offer her some skewers, only to find her arm in arm with a man. He nearly fainted on the spot, showing full hostility towards the man. Asked angrily, "Were you even invited today?" Chung Fei immediately stepped forward. "He's my date." "What's wrong?" Jiamei welcomed them with a smile, leaving Gu Tingyu crying alone. Gu Tingyu watched as Chung Fei never once looked his way. His heart was breaking. Worse still, Chung Fei brought food to the man right in front of him. Gu Tingyu's heart turned to ashes. At the dinner table, he glared at the man viciously. He devised a plan to get him drunk. He grabbed the bottle and started chugging. The man didn't back down either. Halfway through, Gu Tingyu smashed the bottle. He went up and punched him. The man fell to the ground. Chung Fei quickly helped the man up, wiping his wounds. Still angry, he threw another punch. This time the man wasn't going to let it slide. He got up ready to fight back. After their brawl, Gu Tingyu ended up in the hospital, while the man only had minor injuries. At least Gu Tingyu got Chung Fei's forgiveness. Jiamei's birthday ended on a sour note. How would Chung Rui make it up to her? She had only dozed off for a moment. When she woke up, it was like a dream. Flower petals and balloons surrounded her. There was also a car full of 999 red roses. Chung Rui held the flowers and gazed at her lovingly. "Jiamei, happy birthday." Jiamei was overjoyed. So the CEO could be this romantic. She stood on tiptoes and gave him a kiss as a reward. Then, Jiamei shyly said, "Flowers may wither, but my love for you will never fade." Chung Rui kissed her forehead. "I will love you forever." He told Jiamei this small surprise wasn't enough. The best was yet to come. Soon they arrived at an RV. Jiamei rushed over, turned and asked how he managed this. Chung Rui smiled sheepishly. "Money makes things easier." Jiamei was speechless. Is this the charm of being wealthy? Chung Rui grabbed her hand. "Let's stay here tonight," Jiamei remarked. Looks like your ultimate goal is just to sleep. Cheng Rui replied, of course, among other things, and pulled her into the RV. As soon as they got in, he grabbed her hand. Face to face, he pinned her against the wall. They both shyly looked at each other. Then Cheng Rui quickly took off his shirt, continuing to pin her in a more sensual position. Indeed, the CEO knows how to play. The next day before dawn, Cheng Rui took the sleepy Jia Mei outside. Soon the sun peaked over the horizon. Jia Mei loved watching the beautiful sunrise. Then Cheng Rui took out a small box. Facing the auspicious sunrise, he handed it to her. Jia Mei, I have another small gift for you. Open it. Jia Mei slowly opened the box. It was a pair of matching rings symbolizing eternity. She was immediately moved to tears. She whispered, is this very precious? Cheng Rui gently wiped her tears. He happily replied, this is passed down to the Cheng family's bride. Jia Mei was surprised and happy. It came so suddenly. Cheng Rui contentedly hugged Jia Mei. The rest of my life will only be you and our children. Jia Mei hugged him happily and said, Cheng Rui, I will love you forever. A perfect moment with the perfect person. Their passion deepened as they embraced and kissed intensely. The CEO was addicted to his girlfriend's charm, daydreaming about her early in the morning. He quietly watched the woman lying beside him, savoring last night's passion. Just then, Jia Mei slowly opened her eyes, realizing she would be late for work. She got up anxiously, ready to leave. Cheng Rui noticed her trembling legs as she walked. He immediately hugged her. You can barely walk. How can you go to work? Jia Mei rolled her eyes. This is all because you were too wild last night. Cheng Rui looked at her mischievously. You were exhausted last night too. Better rest today, or you won't handle tonight. Jia Mei blushed instantly. Can't you show some restraint? Cheng Rui picked her up directly. He put her on the bed, saying, how wonderful if we could be like this every day. Why don't you move in? Jia Mei didn't agree immediately, worried about Cheng Fei. However, Cheng Rui complained about his sister Cheng Fei. She's already used to living alone abroad. The CEO really prioritizes love over family. Cheng Rui continued to hold her, persuading persistently. Jia Mei shyly agreed. Days later, they attended a gathering at a hotel. The group walked into the lobby, chatting and laughing. Suddenly, a familiar voice stopped Jia Mei in her tracks. She and Cheng Rui gently pushed the door open to peek. They saw a beautiful blonde woman drinking. Jia Mei was surprised. It's really Mom. She immediately went in to greet her. Mom, why are you here? Her mother was also surprised. The woman beside her asked who she was. Her mother pulled Jia Mei close and introduced her with a smile. This is my daughter, my third child. She's been working in Jiangqing. What a coincidence meeting her here. Just as she finished, Jia Mei pulled her out. Jia Mei angrily asked when she arrived and why she didn't call ahead. Her mother carefully examined her long unseen daughter. Not bad. You've gained weight. Better than I imagined. Now I can relax. Jia Mei was curious about how her mother had imagined her. Without hesitation, her mother said Jia Mei could do nothing but cry. Hearing this, Jia Mei felt awkward and hurt. Then her mother noticed Cheng Rui beside them. Cheng Rui quickly stepped forward to greet her, introducing himself as Jia Mei's boyfriend. Her mother's eyes immediately lit up, focusing intently. Like a scanner, she looked him up and down. Then she said, well, you look decent. Better than that Cheng guy. Cheng Rui was speechless but maintained a forced smile. Jia Mei quickly pulled him close, happily introducing him as Cheng Rui. Her mother immediately became serious, interrogating him. How old are you? What do you do? How many siblings do you have? How many girlfriends have you had? And a series of other questions. Would Cheng Rui satisfy his future mother-in-law? The CEO turned timid in front of his future mother-in-law, meekly introducing himself. He praised Jia Mei in front of her and excessively flattered his mother-in-law with elaborate compliments. The mother-in-law was floating with pride. Jia Mei quickly interrupted her mother. Let's take you back to the hotel. But her mother said she still had plans and wouldn't go back yet. Jia Mei complained, you're just drinking and gossiping. Her mother pinched her cheek. Now that you have a boyfriend, you won't listen to your mother? Jia Mei apologized with a grin. Cheng Rui observed the situation, thinking his future mother-in-law would be difficult to please. As they prepared to leave, Jia Mei reminded her again to drink less. Her mother agreed with a smile, then turned around and shouted, let's keep drinking, shocking Jia Mei. Just as they left the hotel, Chung Rue immediately made a call. He was notifying the hotel manager to charge his mother-in-law's expenses to his account. Jiamei happily praised Cheng Rajtolfulnish. Chung Rue hugged her, saying, "Now that your mother's here, I must make a good impression as your future husband." Jiamei pushed him away. "You talk as if I have no choice but to marry you." Chung Rue pressed her against the car, caressing her face and forcing her to agree. "If you don't agree, see how I'll deal with you tonight." Jiamei blushed immediately. "Chung Rue, can't you think about anything else?" Chung Rue hugged her playfully. "My mind is full of you." That evening, Jiamei called her brother. She asked why their father hadn't come. It turned out their parents had fought, and their mother had left their father behind. Jiamei thought about her poor father and felt quite happy. Chung Rue saw her and jealously asked who she was calling. Jiamei explained the situation. Then she hugged him, smiling, wondering how her parents had cultivated their relationship for over a decade. Chung Rue lifted her chin. "Being together needs love and tolerance. We'll be the same." Jiamei was very satisfied. "Then I look forward to your performance." They started being playful again. The next morning, while they were still sleeping, suddenly the phone rang. Chung Rue answered, asking who it was. On the other end was Jiamei's mother. Her face darkened with anger. How would Jiamei and Chung Rue handle this? The cohabiting couple was caught by the future mother-in-law. How should the CEO handle this? Chung Rue calmly answered Jiamei's phone. Only then did he realize it was her mother. Her mother said expressionlessly, "I'm looking for Jiamei." Chung Rue nervously replied that she hadn't gotten up yet. He then tried to pass the phone to Jiamei, but she said it couldn't be her mother. She must still be drunk from last night, and asked Chung Rue to sleep more with her. Her mother heard everything and smirked coldly. "My daughter is really attached to you. Looks like I need to have a good chat with you both." Just then, Jiamei suddenly woke up. She sat up and exclaimed, "Mom," telling Chung Rue she thought she'd dreamed of hearing her mother's voice. Chung Rue stroked her head. "You're such a muddlehead. That really was Annie calling just now." Jiamei burst into tears. "Mom knows we're living together. She'll come here and kill me." But Chung Rue smiled reassuringly. "Your mom just invited us to dinner." Hearing this, Jiamei cried even harder. Shortly after, her mother had already arrived at the hotel waiting. As soon as they entered, Jiamei quickly called out, "Mom." Her mother turned away, not wanting to look at her. Chung Rue also greeted her, thinking this future mother-in-law's aura was truly extraordinary. Her mother directly twisted Jiamei's ear, angrily asking what she did last night to sleep in so late. Jiamei yelped in pain while Chung Rue watched the situation. He stepped forward and grabbed her hand, protecting Jiamei behind him. "Auntie, you look beautiful today. Don't hurt your hands." The aunt was flattered by the compliment and said frankly, "I was a great beauty when I was young. Her father had to work really hard to win me over." However, Jiamei tactlessly asked, "Wasn't it Mom who shamelessly pursued Dad?" Her mother instantly turned into a big bad wolf, pinching Jiamei's face. "You're really my good daughter." Chung Rue was speechless. Then her mother also thanked Chung Rue for paying their bill last night. Chung Rue unconsciously rubbed Jiamei's cheek. "Annie, you're too kind. It was my duty." Seeing them so sweet together, her mother said, "No wonder you're already living together." The couple awkwardly separated quickly. Meanwhile, her mother warned Chung Rue to love and tolerate Jiamei. "Behave well." Jiamei immediately asked her mom, "Does this mean you approve of us?" Chung Rue quickly held Jiamei's hand and declared, "I will treat Jiamei well." Her mother darkened her face to intimidate him. "Of course you must treat my daughter well, or I'll beat you up." The couple was overwhelmed by her mother's presence. They forced smiles and agreed. Indeed, mother-in-law is extraordinary. To avenge her daughter, the mother actually took out a rolling pin to beat up the scumbag. They had just met. The scumbag was still presumptuous, thinking she came to ask for reconciliation. Her mother just smiled at him. Meanwhile, her other hand reached into her bag for a weapon. She took out the rolling pin and started hitting. The scumbag's face turned pale with fear. She chased him around, beating him. The scumbag got several bumps on his head and begged for mercy. He found a chance to grab the rolling pin, crying while explaining that his breakup with Jiamei was mutual. But her mother knocked him down with one hit. A crowd gathered to watch, making her mother slightly embarrassed. She immediately went into acting mode, bursting into tears. Sitting on the ground, she cried and complained to everyone that the scumbag abandoned her daughter for money to marry a rich girl. Everyone started discussing. The scumbag got up holding his head, telling everyone the woman was lying. Everyone stepped back. His image was completely ruined by now. Her mother continued mocking him. "It's not easy being a gold gold digger these days. The scumbag knelt down crying. His future was completely ruined. Meanwhile, while her mother was away, Jia Mei and Cheng Rui couldn't wait to be sweet together. Just as they were about to get intimate, the phone suddenly rang. Cheng Rui didn't want to be disturbed, but Jia Mei picked up the phone and secretly glanced at it. She immediately pushed him away. "It's Mom." Cheng Rui felt awkward. "We must answer Mom's call." Jia Mei looked at her phone in shock. "The scumbag was beaten into the hospital by my mom," then showed Cheng Rui the hospital photo. "If you ever treat me badly, this will be your future." Cheng Rui looked at the phone and smiled foolishly. "My mother-in-law is truly a heroine." He didn't take Jia Mei's words seriously. Jia Mei immediately changed her expression. Cheng Rui quickly stood at attention, promising Jia Mei his eternal devotion. They sat on the sofa talking about her mother. It turned out her background wasn't simple, from a gang boss family. Cheng Rui broke into a cold sweat, stammering, "No wonder she's so fierce." Jia Mei held his chin. "You better be careful in the future." Cheng Rui smirked. "It's okay. I only dare to bully you in bed." Jia Mei instantly blushed, pulling his ear, saying, "Cheng Rui, you're getting naughty." Cheng Rui smiled. "If a man isn't bad, women won't love him." Then Jia Mei told him she needed to go back with her mother for a few days. Cheng Rui immediately gave her his gold card, telling her to spend freely, to buy things with her mother. Jia Mei happily took the gold card. "Husband, I'll miss you." But she was caught by her ex-boyfriend who tried to force himself on her. She received a call at the station, then looked around in fear. Suddenly a hand covered her mouth, knocking her unconscious. When she woke up, she found herself taken to the scumbag's house. He looked at Jia Mei with an evil expression. At this moment, Jia Mei secretly took out her phone and called Cheng Rui. Their conversation was heard by Cheng Rui. The scumbag discovered and grabbed Jia Mei's hand. He threw the phone out the window and started assaulting Jia Mei. Jia Mei pushed him away. She got up preparing to escape. Just as she was about to open the door, the scumbag grabbed her, threatening that she couldn't leave today. Meanwhile, Cheng Rui rushed over after hearing the news, speeding all the way. By now, Jia Mei was tied up, and the scumbag was preparing to do worse things. He told Jia Mei that he had lost everything, his reputation ruined, all because of her, angrily saying he was living worse than animals while she lived like royalty. Jia Mei retorted it was all the result of his arrogance. Unexpectedly, he became more aggressive, swearing to make Cheng Rui a cuckold. He slapped her. Jia Mei fainted. Just as he was about to go further, the door suddenly burst open. Jia Mei slowly opened her eyes. Cheng Rui was right in front of her. Jia Mei hugged him and cried. Cheng Rui repeatedly apologized for being late. The scumbag was caught by Gu Tingyu. Cheng Rui immediately punched him, then break his arm. The scumbag laid on the ground laughing. "Just kill me. I don't want to live anyway." Cheng Rui was about to act, but was stopped by Gu Tingyu. "Let's leave this to the professionals." Then the scumbag was taken away by two people. Cheng Rui quickly picked up Jimin. He comforted her. "It's okay. Everything's over now." Jimei shyly responded, "With you here, I'm not afraid of anything." They walked away, embracing sweetly. Cheng Rui successfully resolved this crisis, and they would never be bothered by the scumbag again. How terrifying could Lu Xingqiang's woman be? She saw the two of them in love. She went up and called out Brother Rui to him, then right in front of Jimei, she clung to Cheng Rui. Cheng Rui pushed her away. The woman persisted, holding his arm, asking, "Did you miss me?" Cheng Rui was very uncomfortable. Then Jimei held his other arm. "Your brother Rui thinks about me every day now." She declared her ownership to the woman. Then hugging Cheng Rui in front of the woman, she asked, "Right, Brother Rui?" Cheng Rui awkwardly replied, "Yes." The woman beside them got angry and asked Cheng Rui who she was. Cheng Rui answered without hesitation, "She's my girlfriend." The woman was shocked. "Brother Rui, you actually have a girlfriend?" Then Cheng Rui left with Jiamei. The woman panicked and said, "You have a girlfriend? What about Sister Sue?" Cheng Rui immediately stopped. Jimei turned around puzzled. Cheng Rui's face had turned black with anger. Fortunately, Gu Tingyu pulled the woman away. Jimei immediately asked who Sister Sue was. Cheng Rui hugged her. "That's all in the past. Just trust me. You're the only one in my heart now." Jimei said she trusted him completely, but still wanted him to explain how many ex-girlfriends he had. Cheng Rui stroked his chin. "I'll tell you everything at home." Then they went to a social gathering. After a while, Jia was left alone in the hall. Suddenly, someone stepped on Cheng Rui's foot. Jimmy's dress was torn. She turned to look at the woman, who apologized insincerely. "Sorry, Sister Jimmy." Then cunningly turned and deliberately stepped on her again. Jimmy sneered, "I don't have time for your palace drama games." The woman behind got angrier and stepped on her dress, tearing it. Jimmy looked at her dress with a dark face. The woman persisted, saying Jimmy is too plump. Brother Rue won't like that. Then Jimmy took a cake from the table. She smashed it directly in her face. The woman was furious. While Jimmy said smugly, "Sorry, my hand slipped," she showed off her slim waist, saying, "Your brother Rue said he loves hugging my chubby body. It's very comfortable." The woman shouted, "Brother Rue will never like you. He loves Sister Sue." Just then, Chen Rue walked over. He completely ignored the woman and walked straight to Jiamei behind her. He put a coat around her, then turned around and angrily warned, "If you dare bully my girlfriend again, I won't let you off." The woman was immediately stunned with fear, watching helplessly as the two left. Then she took out her phone to text Sister Sue, asking her to come back quickly. Guess who this Sister Sue is? The current girlfriend shares the same name as the ex. Intentional or coincidence? Jiamei repeatedly pressed him about how many exes he had. Cheng Rue became awkward, speechless. Then he pinned her against the wall, silencing Jiamei with actions, telling her he only loves her. Jiamei also expressed she wouldn't leave and would love him forever. That day, Jiamei just returned from out of town. When she opened the door, flower petals and candles were everywhere. She was amazed by the sight. Could this be another surprise from Cheng Rue? Cheng Rue appeared with a bouquet of flowers. "Welcome back, goddess." Jiamei was delighted, then quickly walked forward, hugged him tightly. "I missed you so much. Cheng Rue, why didn't you pick me up earlier?" She raised her hand to hit Cheng Rue. Cheng Rue caught her hand and put a big diamond ring on her finger. Jiamei looked at the ring on her hand, surprised and shy, unable to speak. Then Cheng Rue held her hand, knelt on one knee. "Jiamei, marry me." Jiamei immediately accepted his proposal. The two shared an intimate moment of happiness. The next day, Jiamei was at work. A French representative came to discuss cooperation with the company. She was Su Jiamei, sharing the same name and being Cheng Rue's ex. But Jiamei didn't know yet as they passed by each other. The representative walked straight into Cheng Rue's office. She took off her glasses and said, "Classmate Cheng, long time no see." Cheng Rue was surprised to see his college girlfriend Su Jiamei. He had loved her so much then, but she dumped him without care. Cheng Rue had long since become disillusioned. He looked at her expressionlessly. The woman broke the awkward silence first. "After all these years, your little habit hasn't changed, pursing your lips when angry." "Such nostalgia," Cheng Rue interrupted. "Are you done?" The woman persisted. "How could I be? After not seeing you for so long, I have so much to say." Cheng Rue remained unmoved, slapping the desk as he stood up. "Miss Su, you're just our business representative. I think we should only discuss business matters." "Nothing else to discuss," he said as he walked out of the office. The woman quickly tried to arrange after-work time to discuss personal matters. Cheng Rue directly refused. "No time. I need to be with my girlfriend after work." The woman said there would be plenty of time in the future. But Cheng Rue was more direct. "I think we won't need to meet after the meeting is over." Then he turned and walked out. The woman inside wouldn't give up, thinking, "Cheng Rue, the more you act this way, the more it shows you still have feelings for me. I'll definitely win you back this time." The representative went to shameless lengths to win back her ex-boyfriend. She followed Cheng Rue to the restaurant, then approached him trying to get close and saying ambiguous things. Cheng Rue immediately declined politely. The woman deliberately spilled red wine on herself, then pretended to be helpless to gain sympathy. Seeing this, Cheng Rue directly gave her his jacket. "I've moved on from the past. Please respect yourself, Miss Su, or you'll end up losing face." The woman continued pretending, thanking Mr. Cheng for his concern. Jiamei witnessed everything from a distance. Shaoli also warned her to be wary of Su Jiamei. Looking at Cheng Rue's back, Jiamei now sensed their unusual relationship. The woman persisted, chasing after Cheng Rue, repeatedly apologizing. "I had no choice back then." Before she could finish, Cheng Rue turned and said, "Miss Su, this persistence is pointless." He turned to find Jiamei, ready to leave. The woman stopped her pursuit, watching them leave hand in hand, but still not believing Cheng Rue had truly changed his heart. Back home, Jia Mei asked if they knew each other. Cheng Rui told her she was his college girlfriend who suddenly left without saying goodbye, ending their relationship. Jia Mei asked why she left without notice. Cheng Rui awkwardly replied, maybe she felt her background was too humble for me. Jia Mei immediately imagined, is it possible your mother gave her money to leave you and she couldn't resist the temptation and took the money? Cheng Rui was speechless. You've been reading too many melodramatic comics. Jia Mei asked Cheng Rui again if he still had feelings for her. Cheng Rui moved closer. Are you silly? I've long moved on from her. My heart is completely filled with you. There's no room for anyone else. Jia Mei continued asking, did you like me because we share the same name? Am I her replacement? Cheng Rui hugged her head. Silly, who falls in love because of a name? Am I that shallow? Everything I've done for you comes from my sincere love. Jia Mei shyly replied, I'll remember all your kindness in my heart. Cheng Rui was touched. Thank you for trusting me so much. Having you is all I could ask for. However, would Su Jia Mei give up so easily? Behind his girlfriend's back, he secretly took his ex's call, quietly going to the study. Impatiently asked what she wanted. On the other end, his ex was drunk, repeatedly calling Cheng Rui's name. The waiter told him she was drunk and needed someone to pick her up from the bar. Soon, a man arrived at the bar. The woman cleverly thought Cheng Rui couldn't let her go and had finally come. She turned and threw herself at the man. Only then did she realize it wasn't Cheng Rui. The man awkwardly said, Miss Su, Mr. Cheng specifically sent me to pick you up. The woman angrily pushed him away and stormed off furiously. Meanwhile, Cheng Rui received another call from his ex, demanding if he didn't love her at all anymore. Cheng Rui replied without hesitation, yes. Just then, Jia Mei woke up looking for him, seeing the unextinguished cigarette, but she asked, why aren't you sleeping? Something on your mind? Cheng Rui turned to her. Why are you awake? He immediately picked her up like a princess, carrying her back to the bedroom. Late at night, Jia Mei checked his phone while he was asleep. She found his ex's calls. She felt sad, wondering what they talked about so late at night. The next morning at breakfast, Jia Mei suddenly felt nauseous. Cheng Rui suggested she take some medicine and rest at home. Jia Mei thought, is he stupid? I'm obviously pregnant. Just as Cheng Rui arrived at the office, his ex showed up. Cheng Rui, do you really not care about me anymore? Don't you want to know what I've been through all these years? Cheng Rui ignored her and prepared to leave. The woman invited him again to discuss business that evening. Being work-related, Cheng Rui had no reason to refuse. The woman watched his departing figure. Cheng Rui, I must win you back. That evening, Cheng Rui brought his assistant to discuss business. The woman awkwardly asked, do you need to bring your assistant everywhere? Then she winked at him flirtatiously. I ordered your favorite steak. Cheng Rui replied disdainfully, sorry, my taste has changed long ago. She awkwardly said, how can taste change so easily? Cheng Rui immediately responded, I now only like my girlfriend's cooking. The woman felt embarrassed. Seems you really love your girlfriend. Cheng Rui seriously told her, we're getting married soon. The woman was thunderstruck. Cheng Rui, you can't marry her. Cheng Rui stood up angrily. Since Miss Su isn't here to discuss business, I'll take my leave. From now on, deal with my assistant for everything, he said as he left. The woman angrily smashed her wine glass. I won't let you two marry. If I couldn't marry into the Cheng family back then, how Jia Mei, you won't either. She picked up her phone to make a call. Guess who she called? Leaving her boyfriend for $5 million. Between love and money, she chose the latter. The one who made her leave was actually her boyfriend's mother. She thought the woman's humble background wasn't good enough for her son, and directly handed her a check for $5 million. Asked her to take the money and leave forever. Looking at the $5 million check in his hand, Cheng Rui silently accepted it and disappeared without a trace. However, this time, to prevent Hao Jia Mei from marrying into the Cheng family, she sent their photos directly to Cheng Rui's mother. Upon seeing them, his mother immediately booked a flight back to China. I absolutely won't allow the Cheng Group heir to be with a woman with no background. Meanwhile, Jia Mei learned his mother was coming. She quickly went to pick out a qipao as a meeting gift. She happened to run into Su Jia Mei. She told Jia Mei that when she was drunk that night, Cheng Rui specifically sent someone to take her home. Only then did Jia Mei realize Cheng Rui had gone to take care of her that night. The scheming woman smirked. "Oh, Jia Mei, you're so naive." Then the scheming woman drove Jia Mei home. After getting off, Jia Mei realized the Chi Pao was still in the car. She immediately took out the Chi Pao and cut it with scissors, then wrapped it back up and returned it to Jia Mei, who thanked her foolishly. Back home, she kept thinking about what Su Jia Mei said. So Cheng Rui wasn't only nice to her. Seeing her gloomy, Cheng Rui asked what was wrong. Jia Mei sarcastically said, "You're so considerate." This left Cheng Rui confused. Just then, someone knocked on the door. Cheng Rui opened it and was surprised to see his mother. She said sternly, "Hurry and bring out your girlfriend for me to see." Cheng Rui quickly brought Jia Mei to the dining room and introduced her carefully to his mother. Jia Mei smiled and greeted, "Hello, Annie." His mother thought to herself, "Is my son destined for Jiamais? Why are all his girlfriends named Jia Mei?" Jia Mei served her some food. His mother mocked, "You seem quite familiar with this. How can a small employee like you afford such a high-end restaurant?" Jia Mei replied embarrassedly, "Cheng Rui often brings me here." Cheng Rui quickly added, "Jia Mei is very sweet. She often cooks for me at home." His mother sneered. People from ordinary families naturally know these menial tasks like cooking and washing. Nothing special. Jia Mei immediately realized she looked down on her background as unworthy of Cheng Rui. After that, his mother prepared to leave, arranging to meet again in a few days. She looked at Jia Mei, thinking, "This is good. Jia Mei is clearly not good enough for my son." After they watched her leave the restaurant, Jia Mei asked Cheng Rui if his mother disliked her. Cheng Rui rubbed his head and comforted her. "Don't mind it too much. My mom is just like that." Jia Mei said wistfully, "I hope that's all it is." The girl was dragged by the prince to attend a high society gathering. As soon as they entered, they became the center of attention. His mother frowned, glaring angrily at how blatant her son was being. Jia Mei smiled and greeted her mother-in-law, telling her she bought her a gift. She immediately took out the prepared Chi Pao. Annie looked at the dress in her hands with delight, surprised that Jia Mei had such good taste. She came down the stairs elegantly, wearing the Chi Pao, perfectly highlighting her figure and grace. The onlookers downstairs couldn't help but praise her. Just as she reached the bottom, suddenly there was a ripping sound. The dress split open. She gasped in shock, looking terrified at Cheng Rui and Jia Mei, who were also stunned, breaking into cold sweat. Someone nearby mockingly laughed at Mrs. Chung. "The quality of this Chi Pao is quite something." She glared angrily at Jia Mei, saying, "Young lady, is this your meeting gift? Deliberately humiliating me in front of everyone." Jia Mei apologized repeatedly in embarrassment. Mother impatiently scolded, "Enough! Haven't we been embarrassed enough?" Just then, someone draped a coat over her shoulders. She turned around, surprised to see Su Jia Mei. Cheng Rui was somewhat angry. "Why are you here?" Su Jia Mei took the chance to show off in front of Annie. "As the French representative, of course I'd be here." Annie looked at her happily. Miss Su is truly accomplished at such a young age. Then her expression changed when looking at Jia Mei. "I won't pursue today's matter. You should leave now." Seeing this, Cheng Rui immediately questioned his mother's excessive behavior. His mother darkened her face and scolded, "I'm already being merciful by not chasing her away." Cheng Rui directly pulled Jia Mei and turned to leave. "If you don't welcome my girlfriend, then I have no reason to stay here." His mother was even more furious, grinding her teeth. However, the instigator of all this secretly rejoiced, taking the chance to curry favor. The next day, she brought gifts to visit. She took out her godfather's business card. It turned out he was a director at the French headquarters. Now Cheng Rui's mother saw her in a different light. "My godfather admires Cheng Rui's abilities. Let's arrange a dinner with him and Cheng Rui." Before leaving, she didn't forget to mock Jia Mei. "Compared to that small employee Hao Jia Mei, you should know I'm more suitable for Cheng Rui." Mrs. Chung thought seriously. Compared to the useless Hao Jia Mei, this Su Jia Mei would be much better for Cheng Rui. So she arranged for them to meet. Cheng Rui arrived as scheduled. He was surprised to see the scheming woman. "Why is it you? Wasn't my mother supposed to meet me?" The woman smiled falsely and said, "It's all Andy's good intentions." Cheng Rui quickly turned to leave. The scheming woman put on a pitiful face, quickly grabbing his arm. She stroked Cheng Rui's face. "Cheng Rui, I've always loved you." Suddenly there was a click, and a photographer captured the moment. A group of reporters swarmed forward, recording their intimate moment. Cheng Rui stormed out angrily. The woman was surrounded by reporters. "Are you two here on a date?" Chung Rui turned his head to glance at the scheming woman. She took the chance to pretend to be pitiful, kneeling on the ground. Chung Rui was somewhat irritated. He went forward to help her up. The scheming woman cried out in pain. Chung Rui immediately picked her up, preparing to take her to the hospital. She smirked. Good thing I called the reporters in advance and arranged this sympathy play. Meanwhile, Jia Mei also saw this scene on TV. Would she believe Chung Rui? Betrayed by her boyfriend, she broke down in pain. She watched on TV as her boyfriend carried his ex. Her whole body trembled involuntarily. Tears kept falling uncontrollably. At this time, Chung Rui had just taken his ex to the hospital and was about to call Jia Mei. Suddenly, his ex grabbed him. With tears in her eyes, she pretended to be pitiful and asked Chung Rui to stay with her. Chung Rui violently shook her off, glaring at her. If you need anything, ask the nurse. I have no obligation to stay with you. The ex asked pitifully. If I hadn't left you back then, we would be married by now, right? Chung Rui looked contemptuous. That assumption doesn't exist. Besides, I love how Jia Mei now. The woman suddenly threw herself at Chung Rui, crying that she had no choice back then, that his mother forced her to leave him. Chung Rui was awkward, turning to look at her with confusion. The woman sobbed even harder. Back then, your mother looked down on my background. She met me privately and forced me to leave you. Chung Rui looked bewildered. You're saying my mother planned? The woman, with tears in her eyes, sobbed pitifully. Chung Rui, I've thought about you every day these years. Now that I've succeeded in my career, can I be worthy of you? Just then, seeing Jia Mei outside the door, she quickly devised a plan. She hugged Chung Rui tightly, refusing to let go. Chung Rui felt dizzy, breaking in a cold sweat. Let go of me! Just as Jia Mei opened the door, she was shocked by the scene before her. She stood there stunned, screaming in disbelief. Chung Rui quickly pushed away his ex. Why are you here? The ex also pretended to be embarrassed. Miss, there's nothing between Chung Rui and me. Don't misunderstand. Jia Mei's face darkened with fury as she yelled at them both. Nothing. Do you think I'm blind? Why are you still pretending? Chung Rui rushed to explain. Jia Mei, it's not what you think. But she pushed him away. Don't call me Jia Mei. I'm not her replacement. Chung Rui was exasperated. Don't we even have basic trust between us? Jia Mei tearfully criticized Chung Rui. At first, I didn't believe the news reports, so I came to see for myself. But what I saw was naked betrayal. She covered her mouth and cried, quickly turning to leave, ignoring all of Chung Rui's explanations. The ex took this chance to approach him, but Chung Rui firmly rejected her. Meanwhile, Jia Mei packed her things, preparing to leave. She looked at her phone wallpaper, silently shedding tears of heartbreak. For the sake of fame and fortune, she broke up her son's love. She tried hard to lecture her son about the importance of matching social status. Chung Rui looked disdainful, vowing to marry only Jia Mei. His mother felt helpless with him, so she called Jia Mei, asking to talk privately. When they met, Jia Mei was direct. Annie, just say what you want to say. The mother was straightforward, saying Jia Mei wasn't good enough for Chung Rui, then took out a check. Jia Mei thought, sure enough, rich people all use the same tactics. She said seriously, Annie, I know you've looked down on me from the start, but you haven't even given me basic respect. She immediately stood up, slapping the table. Now it's not you kicking me out, but me leaving you. The son immediately tore up the check. He threw it away and left. Just as he walked out the door, Jia Mei saw many messages from Chung Rui. She simply replied, Chung Rui, let's break up. Then she cried looking up, Chung Rui, I once thought you were my everything. Now I see the truth. I won't be so foolish and naive anymore. The next day, Chung Fei invited Jia Mei home. He tried hard to explain for his brother. However, Jia Mei got up to leave. Just then, Chung Rui arrived. Chung Fei tactfully slipped away. Chung Rui looked sad, asking why she didn't answer his calls. Jia Mei calmly replied, We've broken up. Chung Rui immediately became serious, stating he didn't agree to break up. Jia Mei pushed him away. Whether you agree or not, I've made my decision. Chung Rui suddenly kissed her. I said I don't agree. Jia Mei, I love you. Jia Mei slapped him. Those words make me sick. Chung Rui asked darkly, So, Jia Mei, am I that untrustworthy in your heart? Jia Mei answered without hesitation, Yes. Then she turned and left gracefully. It's completely over between us. Outside, Jia Mei cried painfully. Even without Su Jia Mei, Mother would never approve of us being together. Suddenly, she felt sick in her stomach and shivered. She leaned against the wall, feeling dizzy. Just as she was about to fall, a hand caught her. She turned weakly and called out, "Brother Xiao Qian." Then she fainted. The man was confused and very worried. 5 years passed in a flash. Jia Mei and Xiao Qian attended her brother's wedding with their children. Cheng Rui was also invited. What sparks would fly when they meet again? He willingly became a stepfather for 5 years, silently raising 2 children. The family at first seemed happy, but the couple had no real feelings. This day, they went to attend her brother's wedding. The 2 children were playing by themselves. Little sister Dudu accidentally tripped. She fell hard on the ground. Passing by, Cheng Rui helped her up. He gave her a piece of cake. Dudu praised him. "Uncle, you're so handsome." Cheng Rui asked about her parents. Her brother quickly pulled her away, telling her not to talk to strangers. Cheng Rui was speechless and frustrated. He didn't know these 2 kids were actually his children. He just felt they looked strangely familiar. Just then, stepfather Xiao Qian came looking for the children. He recognized immediately that Cheng Rui was Jia Mei's ex-boyfriend and the children's father, but he didn't tell him. Soon the wedding began. Cheng Rui sat in the VIP section. He saw Jia Mei and her family. Only then did he realize that Jia Mei was the daughter of Commander Ming Cheng. Jia Mei also looked at Cheng Rui in surprise. Xiao Qian hugged her and said, "After the wedding, let's say hello." After all, he is the children's biological father. Jia Mei turned and left. What's the point of meeting him? Seeing this, Cheng Rui gritted his teeth. He never expected that after years apart, Jia Mei would be married with children. A few days later, Jia Mei was assigned by her company to pick up Jian at the airport. The company's CEO discovered it was Cheng Rui. Jia Mei awkwardly greeted him. Cheng Rui also stepped forward politely. "How have you been, miss?" Jia Mei told them the hotel was ready and would take them to rest. But inside, she was very unwilling, thinking if I had known it was Cheng Rui, I would never have come. Back home, Xiao Qian asked if the airport pickup went smoothly. Jia Mei glumly said, "Brother Xiao Qian, CEO Jian turned out to be Cheng Rui." The man asked dejectedly, "Jia Mei, have you been unable to forget Cheng Rui all these years?" Jia Mei smiled, squinting. "Cheng Rui and I are in the past. Now I just want to live peacefully with the children." The man hugged her. "Jia Mei, I've been waiting for you all these years." Jia Mei blushed. "Brother Xiao Qian, you married me back then to protect my reputation. I'm very grateful." But Jia Mei looked up at him. "I can't keep holding you back." The man caressed her cheek, saying he was willing, then smiled and asked her to prepare dinner. Jia Mei saw he was very good to both children, and they liked him too. She felt sad, knowing clearly she still couldn't let go of Cheng Rui and couldn't repay Xiao Qian. She was desperate to achieve cooperation. She drank herself half to death, and the other CEO was her ex. Drunkenly, she looked at Jia and executives. "We've drunk so much, shouldn't we sign the contract?" They replied awkwardly, also drunk. "This project is up to our President Cheng." Then got up to vomit in the bathroom. "If you can convince our President Cheng, the contract can be signed easily." The company president came to check. "You've drunk so much, are you okay?" Jia Mei, face flushed, firmly said, "I'm fine. Won't die." They both looked at Cheng Rui. That god is indeed hard to deal with. Jia Mei, keep Jing DUI Company busy. I'll go talk to him. Just then, Jing DUI Company came to drink with her. Jia Mei smiled graciously, boldly proposing a toast. The president behind her whispered a warning about the old pervert. Jia Mei assured him, "I'll handle this old guy. You go negotiate with that god." Soon after, Cheng Rui's assistant came to advise Jia Mei to drink less. Jia Mei saw the dejected president and knew the negotiations had failed. She knew she couldn't avoid it today. She swayed as she prepared to negotiate with Cheng Rui, realizing she'd drunk too much to walk steady. Jia Mei spoke directly to Cheng Rui. "President Cheng, tell me what it takes to cooperate with us." Cheng Rui looked serious. "Well, miss, you're impressive, drinking down so many people." Jia Mei raised her glass, showing joy. "Thank you for the compliment, President Cheng. It's worth drinking any amount to cooperate with your company." Cheng Rui grabbed her glass angrily, asking, "Your husband is the CEO of MO Group. Surely you don't need to be this desperate for one business deal?" Jia Mei joked that women must be independent and strong. Otherwise, they'd be worthless if a man dumps them. Then she immediately changed her expression. "Cheng Rui, if you don't plan to cooperate with us, I won't waste any more time here." She turned to leave. Seeing this, Cheng Rui became nervous. "You're drunk. Let me have someone take you back." Jia Mei started retching, about to faint. Cheng Rui caught her, and she vomited on him. Cheng Rui looked helpless. Jia Mei, not embarrassed at all, wiped her mouth and laughed drunkenly. "President Cheng, I'm really sorry. Chung Rue immediately took off his shirt. With a dark face, he asked his assistant to find someone to take her home. The CEO quickly picked up the clothes, saying, President Chung, I'll have it washed and sent over right away. But Jia Mei loudly refused to go. The CEO immediately covered her mouth to shut her up, while repeatedly apologizing to Chung Rue. He cried out to Jia Mei, for the company's survival, can't you make some sacrifice? Jia Mei felt speechless but agreed. The next day, she took the clothes to return to Chung Rue, only to realize it was the one she bought for him 5 years ago. She knocked on his door. Chung Rue stood before her in his pajamas. Their eyes met. How would Jia Mei make him compromise? Bringing the 5-year-old clothes to her ex-boyfriend. She awkwardly apologized to Chung Rue, sorry for staining your clothes. Chung Rue took the clothes and advised her to drink less in the future. If there's nothing else, miss, please leave. He turned to go back to his room, leaving Jia Mei alone. Jia Mei quickly called out to stop him. Chung Rue turned confused. Yes, miss? Anything else? Jia Mei nervously clenched her fists, her mind filled with images of her boss begging her. She gathered courage and asked, President Chung, how have you considered the cooperation? Chung Rue looked serious. Miss, you should know the rules. The bidding meeting in 3 days will give the answer. He grabbed her wrist, touched her cheek, and said mischievously, unless the miss wants to make a special arrangement? Jia Mei immediately broke free, unable to look at him. President Chung misunderstands. I won't disturb your rest. She turned and left. Chung Rue watched her leave, feeling sad. I was just being presumptuous after all. His eyes welled with tears. Perhaps staying away was the best blessing for her. Just then he noticed blood stains on Jia Mei's pants. He suddenly pulled her back into the room. Jia Mei blushed, realizing her period had come early. She covered her face in embarrassment, wishing she could disappear into the ground. Chung Rue thoughtfully brought her a cup of brown sugar water. His sudden care surprised Jia Mei. Chung Rue awkwardly asked, Does your stomach still hurt? Jia Mei held the cup with both hands. Thank you. I'm better now. At that moment, sweet memories of their past flooded her mind. Thinking about now, Jia Mei sighed softly. Thank you, President Chung. I'll return the clothes soon. Chung Rue said it was nothing. He also gave her stomach medicine. Too much drinking hurts the stomach. Be careful in the future. Seeing it was raining outside, he asked Jia Mei to stay for the night. Jia Mei immediately refused. Chung Rue turned and said, Don't worry, I'll book another room. I'm not such a beast to take advantage of a married woman. Jia Mei awkwardly expressed her thanks. Shortly after, Jia Mei still left the hotel, thinking it wasn't appropriate. Just then, Xiao Qian came to pick her up. They talked briefly about what happened, then headed home. Upstairs, Chung Rue witnessed everything. The next day, the boss praised Jia Mei for doing well last night. President Chung had agreed to cooperate with them. In 3 days, they would go to the bidding meeting. She needed to accompany President Chung. Well then, Jia Mei was very happy. But thinking about meeting Chung Rue again, she had mixed feelings. Being dragged by the boss to drink with someone who turned out to be her ex, Chung Rue looked at the wine glass in his hand. He didn't want Jia Mei to drink anymore, so he drank it without hesitation, then grabbed her glass too, and downed it in one go. Jia Mei was surprised. Chung Rue said pleased to cooperate after drinking, then turned away with a red face. She silently worried that drinking like this would give him stomach problems. Suddenly, he shivered and started swaying. Jia Mei immediately reached out to support him. President Chung, are you all right? Let me help you rest over there. Chung Rue sat in the chair, looking pained. Jia Mei wanted to take him to the hospital. Chung Rue immediately stood up, firmly refusing. Just then his assistant rushed over, asking if his stomach was acting up again. Chung Rue asked to be taken back to the hotel. They left supporting each other. Jia Mei wondered if Chung Rue's stomach condition had become so serious. She remembered the stomach medicine Chung Rue had given her before. She quickly went to give it to him. Chung Rue directly refused. Not needed. Please leave, miss. The assistant thanked Jia Mei and asked her to drive them back since he had been drinking. Jia Mei didn't refuse and agreed immediately. Soon they got Chung Rue settled. The two old friends took the chance to catch up. Just as Jia Mei was about to leave, the assistant quickly told her that after Chung Rue learned about his mother's private interference back then, he cut ties with her and left the city group. Jia Mei froze upon hearing this. The assistant continued, touching her shoulder. After you left, President Chung became a different person. At first, he drank heavily every day. Later, he founded Giant Company, working day and night. That's when his stomach problems started. started. Jia Mei turned back. We can't always live in the past. What matters most is the future, right? Just then, the company called urgently requesting the assistant's return. The assistant quickly turned around. He begged Jia Mei to look after Cheng Rui for one night, saying Assistant Ying would come tomorrow. Jia Mei was surprised, but eventually agreed to help. Then she called Xiao Qian, telling him she wouldn't be coming home tonight. Suddenly, she heard a glass breaking. It came from Cheng Rui's room. She rushed over to find Cheng Rui weakly collapsed on the bed. She helped Cheng Rui settle down and offered him a glass of water. Cheng Rui turned away, saying, "I'm fine. Just leave." Jia Mei was speechless at him, still being so stubborn while clearly sick. As she cleaned up the glass shards, she said, "Don't misunderstand. I'm just helping out. I'll leave once your assistant arrives tomorrow." Suddenly, she accidentally cut her hand. Before she could react, Cheng Rui quickly grabbed her hand. Such a grown person, still causing trouble. He took out a Band-Aid and bandaged Jia Mei's hand. He sarcastically muttered, "Who's the patient here?" Jia Mei laughed awkwardly. "You help me. I help you. We're even now." Cheng Rui got off the bed. Looking at the scenery outside the window, he sighed. "Is that all it takes to be even?" Jia Mei lowered her head and replied, "Yes. It's been 5 years. Even the deepest wounds heal." Then she walked towards the door. "It's late. Get some rest. I'll leave when your assistant comes tomorrow." The next day, a young girl showed up. She smiled and introduced herself as Assistant Ying. Then she ran in calling President Cheng. She hugged Cheng Rui's arm, saying, "I heard your stomach was acting up. I was so worried." Seeing this, Jia Mei thought, such an innocent young girl, what man wouldn't like her? Then she smiled and bid farewell to Cheng Rui, planning to propose divorce on their wedding anniversary. The fake marriage of 5 years would end here. Jia Mei didn't want to hold back brother Xiao Qian anymore. Before she could speak, Xiao Qian stopped her. With beautiful music playing, he took out a large diamond ring he had prepared. Kneeling on one knee, he proposed to Jia Mei. She was both surprised and embarrassed. She helplessly closed her eyes. "Thank you, brother Xiao Qian." Xiao Qian was excited, thinking she had agreed. He reached to put on the ring, but Jia Mei quickly withdrew her hand. Looking at him tenderly, "I'm sorry, I can't accept. I actually wanted to ask for a divorce today." Walking out of the restaurant, Xiao Qian asked if it was because she couldn't let go of Cheng Rui. Jia Mei closed her eyes and sighed. "No, it's not about him. I've always seen you as a brother." She turned to look at Xiao Qian. "You're so good. You deserve someone better to cherish you. I'm not the one you should wait for." He lowered his head regretfully. Indeed, forced love never works. Jia Mei apologized repeatedly, but he patted her head, looking at her tenderly. "Never say sorry to me. I respect your choice." Jia Mei blushed. "You just need to. Remember, I'm the one who wishes for your happiness the most in this world." Jia Mei was moved to tears. "Thank you, brother Xiao Qian." The next day, Jia Mei attended a party with her child. She happened to meet her brother and Cheng Rui. Jia Mei was curious. "How do you two know each other?" Her brother also asked how they knew each other. Jia Mei told him Cheng Rui was her company's business partner. Cheng Rui then realized that Jia Mei had never told her brother about their past. Her brother hugged Cheng Rui and said, "Years ago, I wanted to introduce my sister to you, but you had a girlfriend then." Cheng Rui felt awkward and guilty, thinking, "If you knew I was Jia Mei's ex-boyfriend, would you kill me?" At this moment, Dudu grabbed Cheng Rui, asking for cake. Cheng Rui picked him up naturally. Indeed, like father like son, not awkward at all. Her brother behind them looked envious. Jia Mei felt very awkward, wondering why the child got along so well with Cheng Rui. Suddenly, someone called Jia Mei from behind. She turned around, surprised. "Brother Xiao Qian, why are you here?" He looked at Jia Mei. "How can I not come to such an occasion? People would gossip if I didn't." Jia Mei smiled. "I can't always trouble you." Xiao Qian comforted her. "Even though we're divorced, we're still closest to each other. There's no trouble at all." Cheng Rui happened to overhear their conversation. He pondered, "Imo, Xiao Qian, and Jia Mei are getting divorced? Guess what he would do next? Avenge his ex by beating up her husband." Cheng Rui saw him flirting with other women outside. Without a word, he suddenly punched him in the face. Xiao Qian held his injured face and cursed. "Are you crazy?" Cheng Rui clenched his fists, glaring at him. "You dare flirt with other women behind Jia Mei's back?" He grabbed his collar angrily. "How could you do this to Jia Mei?" Xiao Qian looked bewildered. "What nonsense are you talking about? Have you forgotten how you treated Jia Mei?" Cheng Rui grew even angrier. He threw another heavy punch. Just then, Jia Mei came and called out to Cheng Rui. She carefully tended to Xiao Qian's wounds. Seeing this, Cheng Rui gritted his teeth. "Jia Mei, Are you stupid? Why care about such a scumbag? He grabbed Jiamei, holding her tightly in his arms. He said fiercely to the man, since you don't cherish Jiamei, I'll protect her from now on. Then he forcefully pulled Jiamei away. Xiao Qian could see how much he cared for Jiamei. He let go of his concerns, thinking as long as Jiamei was happy. Back in the room, Cheng Rui grabbed Jiamei and questioned, facing such a cheating scumbag, do you still want to go back and humiliate yourself? Jiamei looked confused. What are you talking about? Cheating. He gently stroked Jiamei's head. Jiamei, don't hide it. I know everything. Jiamei was shocked, wondering if he knew about her and the child. Cheng Rui continued, saying he knew she divorced him because of his infidelity. Jiamei was speechless, turning to scold him. But you shouldn't hit people. Cheng Rui darkened. You're still defending him at a time like this? Jiamei turned to leave. Anyway, stay out of my business. Cheng Rui grabbed her. Suddenly, he pinned her against the wall and kissed her. Jiamei was caught off guard, staring at him with wide eyes. Cheng Rui caressed her cheek. Jiamei, can you give me another chance to pursue you? Jiamei blushed looking at him, then suddenly came to her senses. She pushed him away. It's impossible between us. We ended 5 years ago. Cheng Rui didn't care and suddenly moved closer again. Jiamei, I still love you. Just then, her brother called, asking Jiamei to come pick up the children to go home. Shortly after, they both went to find her brother. Her brother asked Cheng Rui to take them home. Cheng Rui was very happy about it. He looked at Jiamei with a mischievous smile. I'm very willing to help. But Jiamei felt very awkward. I don't trust him. What if he teases me again? But there was no choice since the two children liked Cheng Rui. Jiamei had a helpless expression. She could only let him take them home. Jiamei fell asleep on the way. When she woke up, she found no one around. It turned out Cheng Rui was playing with the two children outside. Jiamei shouted when she saw this. Like a tigress, she glared at them fiercely, scaring the two children who hid in Cheng Rui's arms. Cheng Rui quickly explained, I didn't want to disturb your rest, so I played with the children for a while. Jiamei's expression changed instantly. She shyly returned his clothes. Thank you for watching the children. It's getting late. You should go back now. Then she immediately turned and left. Cheng Rui watched the mother and children walk away. He thought to himself, Jiamei, I won't let go this time. The CEO was going after his ex of 5 years. He used his position to arrange a dinner and invite Jiamei. Jiamei didn't agree. The boss immediately begged Jiamei with teary eyes. Jiamei looked contemptuous but had to compromise. After the meal, the boss was drunk and left early. Cheng Rui took the chance to touch Jiamei's forehead. You've drunk quite a bit too. Are you okay? Jiamei was caught off guard. She immediately moved away. Worry about your own stomach. But Cheng Rui narcissistically asked, Are you concerned about me? Jiamei looked disdainful and turned to leave. Suddenly Cheng Rui grabbed her. He insisted on driving her home in his car, then quickly pushed her into his car. He also mocked her. You're not as obedient as Dudu. Soon Cheng Rui drove her to her doorstep. Jiamei thanked him and left without looking back. But Cheng Rui shamelessly wanted to come up for a while. Jiamei was speechless. It's too late. Mr. Cheng, you should go home. Suddenly, she heard Cheng Rui cry out in pain. Jiamei quickly helped him up. Cheng Rui immediately turned dramatic, saying weakly that his stomach hurt. Please help me up for some hot water. Jiamei looked at him with contempt, hesitating. Cheng Rui immediately knelt down, showing an expression of extreme pain. Jiamei had no choice but to agree. She felt sorry for him and quickly prepared hot water. She even thoughtfully added some honey. However, when she brought it to him, she was shocked. He was completely fine, playing and laughing with the two children. She immediately became furious. Cheng Rui, you liar. All of you stop right there. With hands on her hips, she scolded all three of them. Cheng Rui stood still like a child, not daring to speak. A moment later, Cheng Rui blushed and pleaded with Jiamei. The children are having fun. Please don't be angry, okay? Jiamei exploded again, angrily scolding Cheng Rui if he came to wreck her home. Seeing this, the children quickly ran away. Mom, early to bed, early to rise makes a good child. Jiamei glared, grinding her teeth. Since when did you two become so obedient? Cheng Rui then joked with a smile. These two kids are so clever. I really like them. Jiamei was stunned. Could this be their natural blood connection? How could they get along so well? Then she immediately questioned Cheng Rui. Is this how you act when you have stomach problems? Chung Rui quickly showed a painful expression. Jiamei, I really do have stomach pain. Jiamei glared and shouted, You're still acting. Chung Rui suddenly grabbed her. Holding her in his arms, he said, If I didn't pretend to be sick, how else would you let me come upstairs? Jiamei looked at him shyly. She clenched her fist and hit his chest. Chung Rui, you're such a jerk. Chung Rui looked serious, holding her hand tight. I am a jerk. I hurt you 5 years ago, but we've missed 5 years. This time I won't miss you again. He leaned in to forcefully kiss Jiamei. Jiamei was surprised. She immediately covered his mouth with her hand. It's impossible between us. It's late. You should go. Chung Rui looked at her with a mischievous smile. I'll get back everything I deserve, bit by bit. Jiamei was too shy to look at him directly. The once cold Chung Rui, how did he become so thick-skinned now? Rekindling romance with an ex-boyfriend after 5 years apart. When they met again, Jiamei was very awkward. Chung Rui said nothing and directly pinned her against the wall. Jiamei reluctantly pushed him away. However, Chung Rui persisted. He forcefully kissed her to silence her. Their love was rekindled. The next morning, Chung Rui created a chance encounter early. Coincidentally, Jiamei bumped right into him. Seeing it was him, Jiamei awkwardly apologized repeatedly. Chung Rui pulled her into his arms. Jiamei, just 1 day apart and you're already throwing yourself at me? He flirted in front of the employees, making his secretary behind them green with envy. Jiamei immediately pushed him away. She awkwardly smiled and responded, Mr. Chung, it's just a misunderstanding. Don't think too much. But Chung Rui was narcissistic. I thought this was just enthusiasm between old acquaintances. At this moment, the scheming secretary darkened her face. Looks like I need to win over Chung Rui quickly. The evil seed had already taken root in her heart. There happened to be a dinner party that night, and Jiamei was present. Chung Rui told his secretary to prepare according to Jiamei's food preferences. The secretary was even more angry, baring her teeth and glaring fiercely. She deliberately got close to Chung Rui, sitting where Jiamei could see. Jiamei took her anger out on the boss, stepping on his foot. Men are all no good. She turned and left angrily, leaving the boss howling and rubbing his foot. Chung Rui happened to see this scene. Looks like she's not completely indifferent to me. I should find a chance to test her feelings. After the party, the secretary supported the drunk Chung Rui, preparing to leave. Jiamei reminded her that Chung Rui had stomach problems and to give him some medicine. Xiaomi smiled at her. I'm his personal assistant. I'll naturally take good care of everything. Then gritted her teeth. No need for you to worry. She immediately helped Chung Rui leave. Meanwhile, Jiamei and Xiaoli got in the car. In the car, Xiaoli told Jiamei, that scheming woman will definitely try something tonight while the CEO is drunk. These types of people rely on their youth and looks, always trying to climb the social ladder by hooking rich men. Jiamei pondered after hearing this. Meanwhile, the secretary took Chung Rui to the hotel. She secretly rejoiced. After tonight, I won't be just a lowly assistant anymore. Then she slowly started unbuttoning Chung Rui's clothes. Shortly after, several police officers broke in. Chung Rui was sitting at his desk. What brings you here? The police immediately showed their badges. Someone reported illegal transactions here. Chung Rui calmly took off his glasses. He quickly stood up saying, Please come in and search as you wish. After searching, the police found nothing. They left, and it turned out Jiamei had made the report. Suddenly, Chung Rui hugged her from behind. Were you trying to get me arrested? Jiamei looked surprised. Weren't you drunk earlier? Chung Rui grabbed her, smirking at how Jiamei, you're quite daring, calling the police, then whispered in her ear. Tell me, what transaction was I making? Jiamei pushed him away. So, Chung, don't misunderstand. She backed away, frightened. I just couldn't watch an old man like you taking advantage of young girls. Chung Rui grabbed her arms. Jiamei, if I hadn't pretended, how would I know you still care about me? Jiamei was stunned. You did it on purpose? What about your assistant? Chung Rui caressed her face. I fired her long ago. I'd never keep such a scheming woman around. Then he asked if she still cared about him. Jiamei scoffed. You're thinking too much. Without another word, Chung Rui held her and kissed her. After 5 years, they were intimate again. The man was sleeping with his ex's daughter, and on the ex's sofa no less. When Jiamei woke up, she found Dudu wasn't beside her. She hurriedly ran out of the bedroom searching. She woke up the sleeping Chung Rui. Surprised, she asked, "Didn't you leave last night? Why are you still here?" Chung Rue shamelessly replied, "I couldn't bear to leave you." Jimei was exasperated. "You're so thick-skinned. When are you leaving?" Chung Rue stretched and went to shower. "I'll leave after taking the kid to kindergarten." Jimei scolded. "Are you planning to stay here forever?" Chung Rue teased. "Help me get my towel." Jimei angrily yelled, "Get out! This is my house." Suddenly, Jimei received a call from Xiao Qian. Chung Rue became interested. He quietly eavesdropped behind the door and learned he was coming to see Jimei tonight. Jimei happily agreed. Chung Rue's face darkened as he gritted his teeth. That scumbag still has the nerve to come. In the evening, Jiao Mei was preparing dinner. Hearing a sound, she quickly opened the door. It was Chung Rue returning with the two children. She asked, puzzled, "Why is it you?" Chung Rue smiled knowingly. "What delicious food have you prepared for me?" He suddenly hugged her and apologized. "Jiao Mei, don't be angry. I had free time today, so I picked up the children." Jiao Mei awkwardly pushed him away. "Can you tell me in advance next time before doing things?" Chung Rue replied shamelessly, "Okay, I'll listen to my wife." Jiao Mei angrily handed him a phone. "Stop talking nonsense or get out." But Chung Rue remained unfazed. He smiled foolishly. Just then, Xiao Qian returned. Enemies meeting face to face. Both bared their teeth at each other, glaring at each other. Fortunately, Jiao Mei quickly stopped them. Xiao Qian stroked Jiao Mei's head. "Our son is sick." I rushed back to check on him. Chung Rue immediately pulled Jiao Mei away. The two were about to fight again. Jiao Mei smiled at both of them. "Dinner's ready. Come eat." At the dinner table, they sat awkwardly together. Jiao Mei could feel the murderous intent. Both men simultaneously tried to serve food to Jiao Mei. Another inevitable storm was brewing. Both stood up, quickly putting food in Jiao Mei's bowl. Soon her bowl was piled like a small hill. Jiao Mei suddenly exploded, smashing her bowl. Red-eyed with anger, she yelled, "Both of you get out!" The two men trembled in fear. They quickly apologized, but Chung Rue still stayed shamelessly. Jiao Mei asked him. Xiao Qian left. "Why aren't you leaving?" Chung Rue grabbed her arm firmly. "Do you wish he had stayed instead?" Suddenly, he leaned in and kissed her. Jiao Mei angrily slapped him hard. Half of Chung Rue's face turned red. Jiao Mei grabbed her own wrist, feeling as if she was the one hurt. It was too harsh. Then she turned to leave. "Chung Rue, we're impossible. Stop wasting time on me." Chung Rue clenched his fists and agreed. He walked outside disappointedly and happened to meet Xiao Qian. He immediately clenched his fists, ready to fight. At this moment, Xiao Qian revealed the truth. "Those two children are yours." Chung Rue was stunned. "Is what you're saying true?" The man forcefully grabbed his ex, trying to kiss her. He completely disregarded her feelings. He kissed her directly. Jiao Mei didn't hesitate to give him a hard slap. Half of Chung Rue's face turned red. He had a lifeless expression. Jiao Mei awkwardly held her wrist. It was indeed too harsh. Her hand hurt from the slap. Who knew this slap would send him to the hospital? The next day, Jiao Mei came to the company for cooperation. She found that Chung Rue hadn't come. She felt sad suddenly. Maybe she hit too hard last night. He must be angry. Just then, an assistant stopped her, telling her that Mr. Chung was hospitalized. "Asked you to visit him." Jiao Mei was confused. "He was fine last night. How is he hospitalized today?" The assistant explained. "Mr. Chung said it's because of your slap. His stomach condition flared up. You should go see him." Jiao Mei reluctantly said, "What logic is this? How can a slap cause stomach problems?" The assistant scratched his head, looking confused. Jiao Mei immediately turned away. "This is clearly extortion. Why not give him a stomach hemorrhage while at it?" The assistant reported back word for word. Chung Rue clenched his fists. "Jiao Mei, I don't believe you can be so heartless." Back home, Jiao Mei saw Duda talking to someone. She discovered he was wearing a smartwatch. After questioning, she learned it was from Chung Rue. Jiao Mei was very angry, telling him not to accept things from others and forbidding him from calling Chung Rue. Dudu immediately grabbed her hand, tearfully begging Mom to visit Uncle Chung. Jiao Mei realized Chung Rue wasn't lying. He was really hospitalized. That day, Chung Rue was browsing Kuaishou boredly. His assistant just told him Jiao Mei was coming with the children. Chung Rue smirked, very excited. Suddenly, he heard the door opening. Immediately started acting, moaning in pain. Jiao Mei came forward asking if he felt better. Chung Rue trembled, face full of pain. "Jiao Mei, you finally came." Jiao Mei asked if he was hospitalized from drinking. Chung Rue laughed awkwardly. "It was clearly from your slap, so you should take care of me." Jiao Mei scoffed. "Keep dreaming. I'm only here to return the watch." She turned to leave. However, Both children begged her to stay and take care of Chung Rue. Jia Mei felt awkward, thinking these two were truly his children. Chung Rue sat up. At least Dudu and Zifei care about me. But Jia Mei left without looking back. That night, Jia Mei received a call from the hospital asking her to pay her husband's hospital fees. Jia Mei angrily sat up, yelling, "We have no relationship at all. Get his fees from whoever you want," then hung up the phone. The assistant also sent a video begging her to help take care of Chung Rue. Jia Mei reluctantly agreed. The next day, she came to the hospital to see Chung Rue. Chung Rue turned his head, smiling at her. "Jia Mei, you came." Jia Mei looked at him. "If your assistant hadn't begged me, I wouldn't be here." But Chung Rue was happy. "No matter what, I'm really glad you came." A nurse complained quietly, "He's your husband after all. You're so stingy about medical fees." Jia Mei exploded in anger, making the nurse cry. "I'm not his wife at all." Chung Rue quickly hugged her. "My wife has a temper, but she's good to me. Hitting means love, scolding means care." Jia Mei slapped him twice, scolding him harshly. Chung Rue cried and apologized repeatedly, then bent over claiming stomach pain, looking completely lifeless. Jia Mei quickly went to him, calling his name anxiously. "Shouldn't Cheng Ra grabbed Jia Mei," hugging her with a mischievous smile. Jia Mei was very surprised. "Chung Rue, you bastard. You tricked me again." Chung Rue didn't care, kissing her firmly without letting go. The man was just kissed by his ex, then immediately started gasping for breath and passed out. Jia Mei was speechless. "Passing out from just a kiss? Am I poisonous or something?" She kicked him. "Keep pretending. I'm leaving." Just then several doctors came in. Finding the patient's condition abnormal, they immediately arranged emergency treatment. Jia Mei was shocked. Could something really be wrong with him? Watching the doctors perform emergency treatment, isn't it just a minor stomach problem? How did it become so serious? The doctor told her such conditions can be minor or major, and might even become cancerous. Jia Mei was stunned, finally realizing the severity. That evening, Jia Mei helped Chung Rue take a walk. A gentle breeze blew by. Chung Rue immediately held her in his arms. "The wind is strong. Your husband will hold you, so you won't catch cold." Jia Mei reluctantly said she wasn't his wife. They sat down on a bench. Jia Mei asked why he didn't hire a caregiver. "Why trouble me?" Chung Rue replied confidently, "Because I'm the children's father." Jia Mei jumped up immediately. "You must be mistaken. My child's surname is M.O." Then she turned and left. Behind her, Chung Rue called out, wanting dumplings. Jia Mei walked away without looking back. "Make them yourself. I'm not your nanny." Chung Rue remained calm. "You really won't believe until you see the coffin." The next day at the hospital, Duda quickly ran to ask if he was in pain. He pinched Duda's cheeks. "Not anymore. You care about Uncle Chung the most." Zifei also came forward with concern. Jia Mei watched the three getting along so well, surprised at their harmony. Then she took out the prepared dumplings. She picked one up to his mouth. Chung Rue acted coy. "Didn't you say you wouldn't make dumplings for me?" Jia Mei immediately scolded. "Even food can't shut your mouth." Then brought him a bowl of porridge, thoughtfully saying, "Eat more liquid food. It's good for your stomach." Seeing this, Chung Rue instantly became like a puppy, holding Jia Mei's hand. "Wife, you're so good to me." Jia Mei suddenly punched his head, warning him to stop being ambiguous. After feeding, both fell silent. Chung Rue asked if she stayed to care for him, because she thought his condition had worsened. Jia Mei was speechless. Chung Rue sighed helplessly. "I knew you came out of pity." Jia Mei turned away awkwardly. "It's not what you think." Suddenly, she threw a towel at his face. She scolded him harshly. "It's because you're so persistent, telling everyone I'm your wife." Chung Rue was too scared to make a sound, looking disappointed. "I thought you'd say it's because I'm the children's father." Just as the man was about to confess to his loved one, unfortunately, Qingbai arrived. Jia Mei turned and asked, "Why are you here?" The two left Chung Rue hanging on the side. Chung Rue grimaced, looking displeased. "You kid, coming to ruin my moment again." Jia Mei grabbed his arm with concern. Seeing this, Chung Rue quickly pulled her. He pulled Jia Mei back to his side. "Look at his rosy complexion. He's definitely fine." He held Jia Mei and gazed at her lovingly. "You should be more concerned about me." Jia Mei punched him twice. "You're so troublesome." Chung Rue cried with a bump on his head. "How do you change faces faster than turning pages?" Xiao Qian laughed heartily on the side. Chung Rue couldn't stand his smugness and immediately started cursing at him. Jia Mei slapped him twice again. Then she went to ask about brother Xiao Qian's condition. Xiao Qian told her it wasn't serious. Cheng Rui sat on the ground crying like a child. Can't you consider my feelings? Jia Mei directly turned and left with Xiao Qian. I'll give you a massage at home. You must be tired from work. Cheng Rui felt even worse hearing this. He imagined their sweet moments together. With a lifeless expression, he thought he was definitely done for. After a while, Jia Mei brought him red bean porridge. Still angry, Cheng Rui put on airs. So you remember I'm sick? Why aren't you giving your brother Qian a massage? Jia Mei looked at him angrily. I'm voluntarily taking care of you, and you dare mock me? The fox doesn't want to see you getting too close to other men. Jia Mei was speechless. Then she smiled slightly. How old is this man? Still getting jealous. Then she turned her back to him. I can't fulfill that request of yours. Nothing I can do then. She didn't forget to mock him. Thanks for reminding me. I should go take care of brother Qian. Cheng Rui looked confused. What about me? I need care too. Jia Mei waved her arm, carelessly saying, I don't want to serve you anymore. Cheng Rui looked helpless. I brought this upon myself. What should I do now that I've angered Jia Mei? Just then, Xiao Qian came to find the two rival patients sitting down to mock each other. Cheng Rui sneered. Are you here to show off how Jia Mei takes care of you? Xiao Qian was speechless. You're really childish. No wonder you haven't won her back after so long. Jia Mei immediately got up to leave. Since Jia Mei isn't here, I won't waste words with you. Cheng Rui quickly asked, Didn't Jia Mei go to find you? Xiao Qian was also confused. I haven't seen her either. Cheng Rui immediately fantasized. Jia Mei, you're just saying one thing, but meaning another. Just then, Duda came back looking for his father, but found he had left. So Duda quickly asked Uncle Cheng, did Dad and Mom have a fight? Although they didn't sleep in the same room before, Dad would come home every day. Now he doesn't even come home. Cheng Rui finally realized that they were in a fake marriage. Jia Mei had been pretending all along. His ex-girlfriend of 5 years was pregnant with his child. Learning the truth, the male lead was very happy. So her marriage with Xiao Qian was fake. He immediately invited them to have dinner together. Jia Mei thought he didn't know the truth yet and quickly refused. I need to go back to take care of brother Qian. Suddenly, Cheng Rui grabbed her, held her, and gazed at her lovingly. Just take care of me today. Jia Mei looked surprised. You just got better, and you're already being improper. Cheng Rui stroked her head, smiling mischievously. Who told you to be so attractive? He moved his mouth closer to Jia Mei, who shyly closed her eyes. But Cheng Rui was just teasing her. He didn't actually kiss her. Jia Mei angrily pushed him away, scolding, What's the point of pestering me like this? Cheng Rui looked embarrassed. I love you. Jia Mei, will you come back to me? Then forcefully hugged her, nervously breaking into cold sweat. I know the truth now. The child is mine. He held Jia Mei again. Xiao Qian told me everything. Jia Mei was shocked. Cheng Rui continued persistently begging her to give him another chance to start over. Jia Mei covered her mouth sadly. Cheng Rui, we're long over. We can't go back. Suddenly a kick came flying. The door was kicked open. It was Jia Mei's brother who had heard everything. He was trembling with anger, glaring at Jia Mei through gritted teeth. She quickly stood in front, knowing that when her brother gets angry, no one can stop him. But Cheng Rui pushed Jia Mei aside. I'll take responsibility for my actions. I'll face the consequences. Before he could finish, her brother landed a heavy punch. Cursing loudly, extremely angry, he threw a second punch. Suddenly Jia Mei jumped in front of Cheng Rui, taking the punch for him, then touched his face asking, Are you okay? Though still angry, her brother was helpless. Even now, you're protecting him? He could only watch them act like star-crossed lovers. During their conversation, her brother learned the truth about Jia Mei and Xiao Qian's fake marriage. He angrily lectured her. Cheng Rui immediately hugged Jia Mei. Don't scold her anymore. It's all my fault. Her brother was helpless with them both. Looks like you've rekindled your old flame. He turned to leave. Handle your own matters. Then look back at them. Though I can forgive you, I can't guarantee Mom and Dad will. Jia Mei's eyes filled with tears. If Mom and Dad find out, they'll kill me. Cheng Rui quickly comforted her. Don't worry, I'll definitely beg for Mom and Dad's forgiveness. Then held her tight. Give me another chance. I won't disappoint you. The woman had separated her son's love for social status. Now she came offering kindness because of her grandchild. Her arrival surprised Cheng Rui greatly. He immediately changed his expression and questioned why she came. But his mother ignored him and walked right in. Jia Mei was also extremely surprised. This person who forced me to break up with 5 million before before. What does she want now? The woman changed her previous attitude, smiling at Jia Mei. I'm so happy you're back together. Jia Mei looked confused. Annie, what brings you here? The woman held both of Jia Mei's hands. I'm here about you too. You're not getting any younger. It's time to have a family. Jia Mei felt awkward. Hasn't she always opposed me being with Cheng Rui? Then the woman sat down and told them she would stay here for one night. Jia Mei was so scared she broke into a cold sweat. The woman treated it like her own home, choosing a room to stay in. She even pretended to plead with Jia Mei pitifully. Jia Mei was completely confused. Why did her attitude towards me change so dramatically? Then she angrily questioned Cheng Rui. You didn't tell her about the child, did you? Cheng Rui frantically denied it. At that moment, the woman inside discovered photos of the children, smiling with satisfaction. Cheng Rui came in just then. You really came for the children, he said angrily. This time, I won't let you hurt Jia Mei again. Early the next morning, Jia Mei had just woken up. Walking out of the bedroom, she was surprised to find Cheng Rui's mother was making breakfast. Looking at the sumptuous breakfast, Jia Mei was curious. She actually knows how to make breakfast. The children also came running, attracted by the smell. She was overjoyed seeing the children, moved to tears. Are these my grandchildren? In the evening, the woman held Jia Mei's hand asking what she wanted to eat. That's when they discovered Jia Mei had a cold. She immediately pulled Cheng Rui's ear. Did you not take good care of Jia Mei? Cheng Rui quickly helped Jia Mei back to the room to rest. Mom was still instructing Cheng Rui. Silly son, you should carry Jia Mei to the room. Cheng Rui picked up Jia Mei. He said flirtatiously, looks like my mom approves of us being together. Jia Mei replied embarrassedly, I haven't agreed. What are you so happy about? Cheng Rui threw her on the bed. I don't care. I've decided on you. Suddenly, he held her in his arms. After their intimate moment, Cheng Rui told her to lie down while he got medicine. That's when he found his mother had locked the door. They were locked in together. Cheng Rui decided to go along with it and prepared to rest with Jia Mei. Would Jia Mei agree? His mother had locked her son with his ex in one room. A man and woman alone together inevitably led to thoughts. Cheng Rui didn't care and brazenly got into bed. He held the shy Jia Mei. Looks like tonight we'll have to make do for one night. Jia Mei didn't let him off easy. The red handprint on his face said it all. Cheng Rui had to sleep on the floor. Late at night, they both tossed and turned. Neither could sleep. Suddenly, Jia Mei sat up and scolded Cheng Rui. You've been moving all night. How can anyone sleep? Cheng Rui blushed. With such a beauty around, who could sleep? Then he turned to Jia Mei with a naughty smile. Could it be you're thinking the same thing as me? Jia Mei's expression changed instantly. Angrily, she grabbed something to throw at him. Suddenly, she slipped and lost her footing, flying straight towards Cheng Rui on the floor. Cheng Rui was also hit hard. He cried out in pain. Jia Mei, are you trying to murder your husband? Jia Mei quickly checked if Cheng Rui was hurt. Cheng Rui pouted, whispering, with your weight falling on me, I'm lucky to be alive. Jia Mei became embarrassed. Are you calling me fat? Cheng Rui suddenly embraced her and kissed her deeply. Then he pushed Jia Mei down. They became intimate again. The next morning at dawn, both were still drowsy. Just as they were about to wake up, Cheng Rui smiled and hugged Jia Mei, wanting her to sleep a bit longer. Suddenly, the door clicked open. Mom tried to stay calm, but was shocked seeing them together. Jia Mei, Cheng Rui, what's this? They both looked at her awkwardly. Mom immediately scolded Cheng Rui. You rascal. Jia Mei is sick, yet you're still bothering her. Cheng Rui adjusted his clothes and asked why she locked the door last night. Mom pretended to be confused, saying she forgot, leaving them both speechless. Then Mom took Jia Mei's hand. Since things have come to this, you should get married soon. Cheng Rui was overjoyed and agreed repeatedly, while Jia Mei looked reluctant. Cheng Rui held Jia Mei close and said tenderly, Jia Mei, let me take care of you and the child from now on. He picked her up again, threw her onto the bed. From now on, you're mine. No one can take you away. They gazed at each other. Cheng Rui, you're still as domineering as 5 years ago. Then they kissed again. Would Cheng Rui's pursuit of love be this smooth? 521 ido. I love you today. It was a day when countless couples became official. The male lead also proposed to Jia Mei. He knelt on one knee, holding a diamond ring. Jia Mei was instantly moved to tears, covering her mouth speechless. Friends behind them congratulated and cheered for Cheng Rui. Jia Mei slowly extended her left hand, accepting Cheng Rui's proposal. Suddenly, someone pushed open the door. Her brother urgently shouted, Jia Mei, come with me quickly. Jia Mei was shocked. Brother, why are you here? Her brother quickly explained, Mom found out about your divorce with Xiao Qian. She had a heart attack. She's in the hospital. He pulled Jimei to leave. Cheng Rui also held on to Jimei tightly. This is all because of me. I need to explain in person. Her brother looked back. He agreed with Cheng Rui. They all went to the hospital. Jimei anxiously asked about her mother's condition and learned she had just passed the critical period. Jimei burst into tears, blaming herself. At this moment, Xiao Qian also arrived breathlessly. Jimei, I'm also responsible for this. I should come. Suddenly, Mom woke up and angrily told them to leave. Jimei immediately turned to care for her mom. You scared us? But Mom looked disdainful. I don't want to see you. She turned to comfort her dad. Old man, did I scare you? At this moment, Cheng Rui also stepped forward to greet them. Mom immediately changed her expression, excitedly throwing a pillow at Cheng Rui. So you're the one who ruined Jimei's marriage. Jimei quickly stepped forward to explain awkwardly, but Mom wouldn't listen. She glared and cursed. Seeing this, Cheng Rui hurriedly embraced his aunt. It's all my fault. I've wronged Jimei and the child. Mom looked confused. What do you mean by that? Jimei and Xiao Qian immediately became anxious. We actually had a fake marriage. The child is Cheng Rui's. Parents were instantly shocked. Dumbfounded, they angrily pointed at the three. Then she fainted from anger. After a while, Mom woke up. Jimei quickly went forward crying to comfort her. Beside her, Cheng Rui, red-faced, strongly defended Jimei. Mom picked up a water cup with one hand, mercilessly splashed it in Cheng Rui's face. She cursed at him. You betrayed my daughter, hurt her. I won't approve of you two being together. She then smashed the cup. Jimei immediately turned to check if Cheng Rui was okay. Cheng Rui hugged Jimei and stated, Annie, I know nothing I say will earn your forgiveness now, but I truly love Jimei. Mom wouldn't listen at all and shouted, telling them to leave. Both left very heartbroken. After they left, Mom covered her mouth in pain. I just don't want my daughter to get hurt again. Xiao Qian awkwardly admitted that the fake marriage was his idea first. Can't blame Jimei entirely. Mom immediately changed her expression, saying fiercely, no matter what, I absolutely won't agree to them being together. The woman agreed to date her ex-boyfriend of 5 years again, giving him another chance to prove himself. Cheng Rui stroked his chin, looking at her joyfully. This time I'll definitely be a qualified boyfriend. Then he lowered his head, slowly leaning in for a kiss. Jimei pushed him away firmly, dream on, and ran away. Don't forget you're not qualified yet. Cheng Rui suddenly grabbed her, pulled her in front of him. No rush. I'll spend the rest of my life letting you judge if I'm qualified. Then he took Jimei too. Spend time together. Jimei's eyes lit up excitedly. I want hot pot and movies. Cheng Rui saw his chance and leaned in flirtatiously. What else do you want? Making Jimei blush. Soon after their date, they took the subway home. Jimei wondered if she ate too much. Cheng Rui suddenly hugged her. A curvy wife is most lovable. Jimei questioned, Are you calling me fat? Cheng Rui looked embarrassed, feeling he'd said something wrong again. Jimei looked at him happily. It feels like dating like we used to. At this moment, Cheng Rui suddenly saw a hand reaching into Jimei's bag. He grabbed it without hesitation. The thief was caught firmly and howled in pain. Jimei covered her mouth in shock that there was a thief. The thief broke free and quickly reached into his jacket, then pulled out a pencil knife, threatening them viciously. Cheng Rui remained calm, hugging Jimei. Don't worry, I'm here, completely ignoring the thief. You still have time to show affection? Then Cheng Rui turned with an angry glare. He quickly subdued the thief, making him cry out in pain, then gave him a powerful kick to send him off, making the thief fall flat on his face. The onlookers cheered. Cheng Rui calmly adjusted his sleeves. Jimei watched him like a fangirl. Cheng Rui still looks as cool as before when fighting. Soon the police came and arrested the thief. A blonde girl looked at Cheng Rui with hard eyes. Handsome, you were so cool just now. Can I have your number? Cheng Rui immediately hugged Jimei and replied, You'll have to ask my girlfriend if she agrees. Then lowered his head to ask Jimei, Wasn't I very manly just now? Jimei recalled with some fear. Cheng Rui had risked himself for her without any concern for his own safety. She wondered if he was worthy of spending her life with. It was already dawn. How Jimei rubbed her sleepy eyes. She had spent the whole day dating Cheng Rui yesterday. They played until very late, so she let Cheng Rui sleep on the couch. maybe too tired. She overslept this morning. She needed to wake Chung Rue up as she had work later. Opening her blurry eyes, she saw no one on the couch. She wondered if he couldn't sleep well and left in the middle of the night. Anger rose in her heart. Men are really pigs. They don't even have this much patience. But the next moment, a voice responded, "No pork trotters, but I do have meatballs. Did you think I left? Are you disappointed?" How Jiamei was surprised. She saw Chung Rue wearing an apron, holding a plate of meatballs, and several dishes were already on the table. How Jiamei coughed lightly. "Not at all. Did you make all these?" Chung Rue gently held her waist, looking at her lovingly. "Yes, I woke up at 6 a.m. to cook for you. Dear wife, would you give this hard-working little bee a 5-star review?" How Jiamei pushed him away. Dream on, trying to get credit for such a small achievement. To pass, let's use a point system. You need 100 points to pass. Chung Rue confidently stepped forward and touched her chin. "I'll get it within a week." "My dear wife." How Jiamei glanced at him sideways. Unauthorized intimacy and flirting, minus 10 points. Chung Rue quickly stepped back. "What? There's a deduction system?" How Jiamei proudly said, "So now your score is negative." Chung Rue stomped his feet anxiously. "No way. We can't even be intimate." How Jiamei smiled coyly. "Chung Rue, you need to work harder." "Jiamei, why are you torturing me like this?" At the company's morning meeting, Gaozing announced good news. Jian Group officially invested in Yida Group. Amid warm applause, Chung Rue slowly entered. How Jiamei was shocked. Xiaolon clicked her tongue. "After all this time, Program Director Chung is still our boss." Chung Rue came directly to her side, smiling. "How Jiamei, I'm happy to work with you again." Jiamei was speechless. Chung Rue had really gone all out with this. After work, her best friend Xiaolon had other plans. When she was alone, Chung Rue caught up with her. "Jiamei, let me take you home." How Jiamei felt uncomfortable. "You're my boss now. How can I let my boss take me home?" Chung Rue said softly. "So what if I'm the boss? At home, I'm still your little puppy." How Jiamei blushed, "But we're not going the same way." "That's not necessarily true." Half an hour later, at How Jiamei's home, Chung Rue said, "Taking my girlfriend home. Worth 10 points, right?" How Jiamei resigned. Fine. You get 10 points. Now go home. I'm tired too." Chung Rue said, "How about this?" He was prepared and took out a key from his waist, opening the door across the hall. How Jiamei angrily said, "How can you pull this trick again?" Chung Rue said, "Jiamei, as your national boyfriend, I bought this house to take better care of you. Not bad, right?" How Jiamei said angrily, "Drop your CEO mode. Making decisions without asking me. Minus 10 points for buying the apartment next door." Chung Rue's face fell. "So I did all this for nothing? Old tricks don't work anymore." He snorted. "Jiamei won't expect. I have another plan." The next day, How Jiamei heard a knock while preparing for work. Opening the door, she saw Chung Rue holding flowers, smiling at her doorstep. She said irritably, "It's not New Year yet. Don't stand at people's doorstep like a mascot early in the morning." Chung Rue eagerly said, "The early bird catches the worm. I've never been this diligent, even during school exams. I'm really trying hard for that passing grade." How Jiamei said, "Then you've made a mistake. I don't like these flowers." Before she could say, minus 10 points, Chung Rue interrupted. "These are for our mom. It's Saturday. I knew you'd visit her at the hospital, so I ordered her favorite flowers early." "Oh, did you want some too?" How Jiamei pouted slightly. "Stop saying our mom. She's my mom." Chung Rue chuckled. He pulled out a rose from the bouquet. "Don't be angry. How could I forget flowers for my dear wife? I remember you like roses." How Jiamei beamed. "Not bad. Gold standard reward, plus 10 points." Chung Rue perked up. "Wife, I'll keep working hard." At the hospital, Hao's family watched the two arrive. They scolded Jiamei. "It's fine for you to come, but why bring your future brother-in-law? What if mom gets angry and her condition worsens?" How Jiamei angrily retorted, "What brother-in-law? Don't talk nonsense." Seeing her anger, Chung Rue said, "Never mind, I seem to be unwanted." Before leaving, he reminded How Jiamei, "Mom's just tough on the outside but soft inside. Just act cute and sweet, and it'll be fine. Good luck." While Mom How was still angry, telling them to leave quickly, Dad How tried to mediate. How Jiamei held the flowers and said, "Mom, these are your favorite flowers from Chung Rue. They help calm the nerves too." Chung Rue seized the opportunity. Uncle, Annie, I know you have concerns about me, but I promise to prove myself this time. I'll make you both satisfied. He bowed and continued. I'm willing to accept your test, as long as I can stay by Jiamei and the child's side. Mom Hao snorted. Your sweet talk is impressive. Is this how you fooled my daughter back then? Just as Hao Jiamei was about to explain, her mom shut her down. Dad Hao looked at his stubborn wife. He shook his head. Jiamei, take Xingrue home first. I'll talk to your mother. The couple had no choice but to leave temporarily. Hao Jiamei felt guilty about her mother's harsh attitude, but Xingrue was more optimistic, sensing from her mother's words that she might give him a chance. Hearing this, Hao Jiamei immediately twisted his ear hard. Then you better perform well. My mom isn't easily fooled. Xingrue nodded repeatedly in pain. Of course, I witnessed your mom's fierce handling of Chen Weihao back then. Just then, Hao Jiamei's phone rang. It was the landlord, Zhang Jie. Xinrue's expression relaxed slightly. The landlord's call came quite quickly. Hao Jiamei put the phone to her ear. Zhang Jie's voice came through. Jiamei, I'm sorry. I can't rent the house to you anymore. Someone bought it at a high price yesterday. I'll transfer the remaining rent to your bank account. I'm really sorry. After hanging up, Hao Jiamei cursed angrily, buying prime location apartments just like that. Which rich fool would be so wealthy and willful? Though angry, she still needed to find a new place. At the real estate agency, she was told there were no apartments available in this complex. Not just this complex, but none within 10 miles. Discouraged, Hao Jiamei cursed again. Did some money-burning rich fool buy the entire building? This is too strange. Even if this location is popular, it shouldn't be completely rented out. Thinking this, she continued to the next real estate agency. Chung Rue grabbed her arm. Maybe some wealthy tycoon really did buy it for investment. Seeing his smiling face, Hao Jiamei casually said, It wasn't you, was it? Chung Rue quickly shook his head. Do I look like some rich fool to you? Hao Jiamei thought. True. Businessmen don't work without profit. You don't look like that kind of money-wasting idiot. Hearing the word idiot, Chung Rue panicked, thinking, if Jiamei finds out I did this, she'll deduct all my points. After thinking for a moment, he clenched his fist. For the sake of being with Jiamei and their child, he decided to take another gamble. It was already midnight. Hao Jiamei was still searching for houses online. Chung Rue brought her a glass of milk. It's so late. Stop searching and get some sleep. I can't. The landlord already returned the remaining rent to my account this afternoon. I have to move out in 3 days. I must find a place immediately. There are suitable places, but they're either too far from the child's school or unfurnished. I guess I'll have to stay in a hotel temporarily. Chen Rue saw his chance and eagerly said, You don't need to stay in a hotel. You can move in across from me. As soon as he finished speaking, Hao Jiamei spat milk all over his face. Even if you're unhappy, you didn't have to spray me. Hao Jiamei quickly apologized. I didn't expect you to say that, so I couldn't help it. She grabbed a towel to help clean him up. Let's not joke about living together. Chung Rue caught her hand. What's wrong with living together? We've lived together before. Hao Jiamei pushed his hand away. The past is the past. Now is now. Chung Rue, I have no plans to live with you. Then she stood up to leave. Chung Rue grabbed her hand. If we live together, I can take care of you and the child wholeheartedly. Hao Jiamei shook off his hand, saying angrily, No means no. We're not married. What would living together mean? And what would the child think? She then pushed Chung Rue out the door. It's late. Go home. I need to visit my mom at the hospital tomorrow. She slammed the door with a bang and snorted. If I moved in with Chung Rue so quickly, I'd be too easy to fool. If he wants to get close to me, absolutely not. I won't let him have his way so easily. Chung Rue looked at the closed door and sighed. Still not working. Looks like I need to try harder. The next day, Hao Jiamei visited the hospital and chatted with her mother. Mom, I want to take the kids back today. They haven't been to kindergarten for several days. I understand their education is important. Tonight, I'll have your brother bring their clothes over. Hao Jiamei quickly shook her head. Not yet. The landlord terminated the lease, and I'm busy moving. There's nowhere to put their things right now. Why did the landlord suddenly terminate the lease? Let me tell you, even if you have nowhere to stay, you can't live at Chen Rue's place. Seeing her mother's tone, Hao Jiamei quickly said, I plan to stay at a hotel first, then look for a house. That's better. Just don't stay at Chen Rue's place. Hao Jiamei thought to herself, is my mom psychic? How does she know Chen Rue's little scheme? Mom Hao put down her bowl and continued. Staying at a hotel isn't a solution. Move back home. That way, I can be with the children more often. To get closer to them, Chung Rue followed closely when Hao Jiamei picked up the children. Considering the lease termination and all the luggage, Chung Rue successfully invited them into his home. Entering the house, Hao Jiamei was surprised. In just a few days, Chung Rue had made the house so cozy. All the appliances and furniture were newly bought. There was even a play castle for the children. Electric toys were everywhere in the house. Seeing Hao Jiamei's excitement, Chung Rue moved closer. I put my heart into pursuing you. Hao Jiamei cringed. Stop the sweet talk. The children are here. Seeing your effort, I'll reward you with 10 points. Chung Rue was delighted and quickly served hot water. Wife, see how nicely I've decorated? Hotels aren't a long-term solution. Why don't you and the children move in here? She spat water on his face again. First milk, now water. Hao Jiamei, you're doing this on purpose. No. Hao Jiamei quickly wiped his clothes, embarrassed. But moving to your place is impossible. My mom wants me to move back home today. Chung Rue was stunned. How can this be? I can't let mother-in-law ruin my plans. Thinking this, he fell to his knees and cried loudly. Jiamei, if you and the children move back home, it'll be so hard for me to see you all. Please move in here. I promise I'll behave well. Faced with this sudden scene, Hao Jiamei was shocked. He's really turned into a puppy. Collecting herself, Chung Rue, I don't want to upset my mom. Let's talk about this tomorrow. It's late. I should take the children back. Before Chung Rue could protest, the children objected. The two little ones each hugged one of his legs and whined, Mommy, Uncle Ching's place is big and nice. I want to stay here. I want to stay at Uncle Ching's too. I want my magic castle. Chung Rue seized the moment. Jiamei, even if you won't think about yourself, think about the children. Even if you decide to move back home later, the distance to school will be a problem. Hao Jiamei felt a headache coming on. Looking at the 3 pitiful faces before her, she thought for a long while before finally relenting. Fine, but it's only temporary. We'll move out once I find a place. As soon as she finished speaking, cheers filled the entire house. After putting the children to bed, Hao Jiamei felt worried. If Mom finds out I'm living with you, she'll come here to kill us. Chung Rue gestured for her not to worry, saying he'd handle it. This was the only option for now. She said she was going to bed, but when she opened the guest room door, she was speechless. The room was completely empty. Not even a chair, let alone a bed. Chung Rue, is this the room you prepared for me? It's nothing like Dudu and Zifei's rooms. Chung Rue quickly explained with a smile. We just ran out of time. My room is nicely decorated though. Stay in my bedroom. Dear wife, please. When Hao Jiamei walked into the room, she was stunned by the extravagance. Star-shaped candles were still burning on the floor. Rose petals covered the bed, creating a dreamy and intoxicating atmosphere in the soft lighting. Seeing his delighted expression, Chung Rue approached and took her arm. Since you like it, we can spend a wonderful night together now. As soon as he finished speaking, Hao Jiamei grabbed his ear. Chung Rue, you planned this all along, didn't you? Deliberately decorating only one bedroom, so I'd have to stay with you. Using the children's preferences to achieve your goal of living together, right? Chung Rue quickly begged for mercy. No, be gentle. He thought to himself, are women all this smart now? I thought my plan was perfect. Feeling better, Hao Jiamei let go. Suddenly remembering something. I bet that rich fool who bought this building was you. Chung Rue panicked, nervously saying, Dear, how could that fool be me? I'm so handsome and clever. It really wasn't me, just a coincidence. Hao Jiamei didn't want to argue further and threw him a pillow, telling him to sleep on the couch. Chung Rue's heart sank. The couch again? My dear, how can you be so cruel? He was met with a fierce glare and quickly shut his mouth. Then he was locked outside. He sighed deeply, thinking a cooked duck couldn't fly away. At least he managed to get his wife and children to move in. It was still effective. The next day, Chung Rue arrived at the school pickup point on time. Hao Jiamei said, You're so busy, you don't need to make a special trip. Chung Rue said it was no problem, adding that it was too hard for her to handle 2 children alone. Back home, they both busied themselves cooking. Chung Rue felt deeply grateful for these moments of family unity. While they were happily busy, the doorbell suddenly rang. Chung Rue wondered who could be visiting so late. When he opened the door, he froze completely. It was his mother-in-law. He was at a loss for words. Mother Hao pushed past him. Seems I'm not very welcome. Dudu Zifei, Grandma's here to see you. Chung Rue's legs went weak, and he wanted to cry. Just when he thought he had a happy family reunion, this unexpected visitor showed up. Hao Jiamei, who was cooking, rushed out. Why did you suddenly come? Weren't you still in the hospital? Mother Hao fondly stroked the two children and said irritably, I was discharged this morning. Is this your new house? And Chung Rue is the landlord. Hao Jiamei quickly explained, Mom, Chung Rue is just being kind. Mother Hao snorted coldly. You're just too naive and gullible. Not only did you lose everything, but you've also dragged my two precious grandchildren into this. Chung Rue brought over a glass of water, smiling broadly. Annie, why did you come so late? If I'd known you were coming, I would have picked you up myself. Mother Hao closed her eyes and said slowly, I thought Jiamei could move back home, so I could look after the children. Seeing her so content living here, I had no choice but to move in with you all to take care of the children. Both of them gaped at her words. Seeing their exaggerated expressions, she said angrily, What? I'm kindly offering to help with the children. Am I not welcome? They both nodded quickly like pecking chickens. Yes, very welcome. Mother Hao snorted and stood up to leave. Chung Rue's headache grew worse. This was harder than the journey to the west. Hao Jiamei shrugged. I told you my mom isn't simple. The 81 trials are just beginning. Let's see if you have the determination. The next day, Hao Jiamei got everything ready and told the children, Don't be naughty, Grandma just got out of the hospital and needs rest, then left for work, leaving behind a dumbfounded Chung Rue. Mother Hao looked at the helpless Chung Rue and asked irritably, Which room is Jiamei in? I'll share a room with her. Chung Rue became uncomfortable. That might be a bit inconvenient. What's inconvenient about staying with my daughter? Chung Rue broke into a sweat and quickly went to the room to remove all the romantic decorations. Looking at the angry mother-in-law, he awkwardly explained, The decorating company did this. They must have misunderstood something. Annie, you must be tired from your journey. Please rest first. The sweating Chung Rue finally got through this hurdle. When Hao Jiamei returned from work, she went to the kitchen to cook for the children. Unexpectedly, Chung Rue hugged her from behind. He complained that she left him alone to face her mother this morning, so she must be punished. Then Chung Rue held her chin. He gently leaned in, their lips about to meet. A shout of Jiamei made them quickly separate. An angry Mother Hao stood nearby. Jiamei, help me find something. What do you need, Mom? Your household registration book. They both broke into a cold sweat. Late at night, Chung Rue tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Having his mother-in-law here was very unfavorable to his plans. He needed to think of something. The next day, Chung Rue fully furnished the guest room with all necessary bedding and furniture. In the evening, he told Mother Hao the room was ready and that he would sleep on the couch. Mother Hao went to rest contentedly. Chung Rue finally breathed a sigh of relief. His plan had worked. After they fell asleep, he quietly opened Hao Jiamei's door. Tiptoeing in, he looked at the sleeping Hao Jiamei. As he leaned in to kiss her, Hao Jiamei opened her eyes and glared at him. Chung Rue whispered, Don't wake up, Annie. I'll just watch you sleep. Hao Jiamei dared not resist loudly, fearing her mom would hear. Damn bastard. Did you plan this too? Looking at Chung Rue so close, hearing his heavy breathing, just as she was about to speak, her mouth was covered, only able to make muffled sounds. Chung Rue ignored her struggles and kept kissing her. Just then, a loud knock at the door startled them both. Chung Rue quickly found a place to hide. Hao Jiamei quickly composed herself and opened the door. When Mother Hao saw her, she frowned at Hao Jiamei's disheveled hair, reddened lips, and loosened buttons. Suspecting something, she claimed she'd forgotten to get something. She walked in and started searching. Seeing Jiamei blocking the wardrobe, she thought Chung Rue must be inside. Despite Jiamei's attempts to stop her, she pushed her aside and opened the wardrobe. She saw nothing but clothes inside. When Hao Jiamei asked what she was looking for, Mother Hao awkwardly said she was searching for a blue embroidered qipao. Mother Hao left with relief. Then the wooden panel in the wardrobe opened, revealing a hidden second layer. Seeing Chung Rue's smiling eyes, she angrily said, It's all your fault. My mom almost caught us. Chung Rue whispered, Don't you find this sneaking around exciting? Come on, let's kiss again. Hao Jiamei refused to listen to his sweet talk anymore. She pushed him out directly. The next morning, just awakened Chung Rue heard the mother and daughter talking in the kitchen. Mom, we really haven't gotten back together. Good. Don't eat old grass. If I find out anything between you two, you must come home with me immediately. Hao Jiamei nodded quickly. Chung Rue walked in. He whispered, You're giving up on me so easily? Mom's health isn't good. I can't make her angry. Then what about later? That's up to your abilities. Hao Jiamei winked at him. After dinner, Mother Hao saw them whispering together and became angry. But entering the living room, she realized they were discussing work. She turned and left. The economy is recovering, and commodity prices are rising cyclically. That's good news for Yida. Does CEO Chung plan to further cooperate with us? Seeing Mother Hao leave, Chung Rue moved closer. Of course, but I'd rather have a deeper exchange with you. Unexpectedly, as soon as he finished speaking, Hao Jiamei kissed him on the cheek. Chung Rue was overjoyed. Just as he was about to speak, they heard Mother Hao's voice again. Jiamei, let's take the children downstairs for a walk. Hao Jiamei said helplessly. Looks like our exchange ends here. They went downstairs, with the two of them trailing behind. When Mother Hao wasn't looking, Chung Rue pulled Hao Jiamei into a corner complaining, even dating in high school wasn't this hard. Hao Jiamei's eyes widened. Dating? With whom? Tell me the truth. No, not me. I just saw how hard it was for other students. Seeing Hao Jiamei's suspicious look, he held her chin and continued, really, darling, I think we should continue discussing business. Hao Jiamei asked if he wanted a deep or shallow analysis. Chung Rue bit her lips. I want both. During the walk, Mother Hao noticed they weren't following. She called to the children. Dudu Zifei, Mommy and Uncle Chung are playing hide-and-seek with us. Shall we find them? The two children went happily. Soon after, Hao Jiamei returned with them. Mother Hao asked, is only Mommy here? Dudu answered, yes. Zifei looked dazed. Uncle Chung promised to take me to the amusement park if I didn't tell where he was. The observant Mother Hao came over, stroking his head. Why is my dear grandson unhappy? Just as Zifei was stammering, Chung Rue walked over. Seeing the scene, he broke into a cold sweat, wondering if he would be exposed. For the sake of the amusement park, Zifei went against his conscience and said nothing, while secretly wondering why Uncle was holding Mommy's hand. Dudu pulled Grandma away to play hide-and-seek, finally ending this crisis. Hao Jiamei's phone suddenly rang. Lu Chun, you're getting married? Congratulations, but I'm busy lately. Okay, fine, I'll go. After hanging up, she looked at Chung Rue's anxious face and explained, I'm attending a classmate's wedding next Monday. Chung Rue became nervous. Middle school classmate? Male or female? Can I go with you? No, my classmates don't know about my divorce yet. Chung Rue said, what if you meet your middle school boyfriend? Hao Jiamei covered his lips with her hand. I'm going alone. That's final. Be good and wait for me to return. She blew him a kiss. To Hao Jiamei's annoyance, her mother had the family driver follow her. Isn't this just surveillance? But her mother miscalculated this time. Chung Rue didn't show up at all. Just as she entered the wedding venue, someone called her name. The person looked familiar, but she couldn't remember the name. The man touched his hair, smiling flatteringly. It's me, Fong Zia. I even wrote you love letters before. Before Hao Jiamei could respond, a woman appeared and twisted his ear. Fong Zia, you're married to me and still thinking about your old crush? After scolding her husband, she turned to Hao Jiamei. Do you remember me? Hao Jiamei nodded, saying she did. Thinking, this is bad. I can't remember who she is. She changed the subject, pointing. Why are there so many people over there? Is there a celebrity? Fong Zia quickly replied. Not a celebrity, but might as well be. Drove up in a red sports car. All the single girls from our class rushed over. You men are the same. Can't move when you see a pretty girl. As if proving his point, two men walked over. Jiamei, you're even prettier than in middle school. The other added, more elegant too. Are you single? Hao Jiamei smiled awkwardly, not knowing how to answer. Then a voice startled her. I am Chen Krui. Remember me? Hao Jiamei turned around embarrassed. Sorry. Who are you? Chung Rue thought. Damn, she doesn't even recognize her old classmate. Fong Zia also said surprisingly, I don't remember having someone like this in our class. Chung Rue quickly smiled. Zia, do you still play basketball? Then looking at the other guy. Remember? I used to copy your homework. The guy scratched his head. Right, all the boys in class copied from me. Though he said this, the name still felt unfamiliar. Meanwhile, Chung Rue was secretly delighted that Selena's information was so accurate. Suddenly, Fong Zia's wife reminded them, remember our class heartthrob? Hao Jiamei quickly nodded. I remember now. The sports representative who won the math Olympiad. Seeing Chung Rue's smug smile, she thought, you're acting quite convincingly. Let's see how I expose you. With that in mind, she pulled out a photo album from her bag. This is our middle school graduation photo. Everyone's changed so much. Everyone gathered around. A girl excitedly shouted, That's me. We were so young then. Hao Jiamei smirked at Chung Rue. Why aren't you in here? The names are listed on the back. You can't just point to anyone randomly. Chung Rui's palms instantly became sweaty. From afar, Jinling was coldly observing them. How Jimei was the person she hated most. Seeing many classmates flattering her made her feel uncomfortable. It was all because of her family's wealth. Just now, when she went to greet her, she clearly didn't remember her. Yet she pretended to know her. And what annoyed her most was learning from classmates that she had married a rich and handsome husband and had twins. This really made her jealous. And just now, a guy named Chung Rui came to greet her. Classmates might not know who Chung Rui was, but she knew very well. He was the CEO of Yongsheng, Jiangqing's most eligible bachelor. She hadn't expected her spring to come so quickly. Just as she was about to introduce herself, Chung Rui walked right past her. He went straight to Hao Jiamei's side, making her stamp her feet in anger. Hao Jiamei is already married. It's useless to look at her. Look at me instead. Now Chung Rui, facing Hao Jiamei's aggressive attitude, disdainfully sighed. Near graduation, I was seriously ill. I missed the chance to take photos with classmates. It's one of my life's biggest regrets. Hao Jiamei rolled her eyes. Who would believe such nonsense? Just then, Feng Zia said, "In that case, let's take a makeup photo with classmate Chung Rui." Other classmates agreed. Chung Rui called a waiter to help take photos. Just like that, Chung Rui became a new member of their class. The only two people who knew the truth were left speechless by this scene. Hao Jiamei looked at Chung Rui beside her and whispered, "Keep a low profile. My mom sent a driver to watch me." Chung Rui nodded in understanding. Their moment of holding hands was caught by Jinling, who sneered, "Hao Jiamei, you're indeed not perfect." Hao Jiamei was chatting with some female classmates. Chung Rui was surrounded by some male classmates. The girl opposite Hao Jiamei suddenly said happily, "Chung Rui keeps looking in our direction." Jinling teased, "Why are you blushing?" "He's looking at Jiamei." "Then I still have hope. Jiamei is already taken. So, what if she's taken? She can get divorced or even have an affair." Hearing their conversation, Hao Jiamei couldn't take it anymore. "Jinling, what nonsense are you talking about?" "Oh my, sorry. I swear, Jiamei isn't that kind of person." Then she held Hao Jiamei's shoulders, as if discovering something new. "Jiamei, I know your secret. You're having an affair with Chung Rui, aren't you?" Hao Jiamei became furious. "It's not what you think. Stop talking nonsense." Jinling laughed heartily. "If it's not true, then you won't object to me pursuing Chung Rui. Well then, wish me luck." Watching Jinling eagerly heading towards Chung Rui, she secretly mocked, as if you could win him over. Jinling approached Chung Rui from behind with a glass of red wine. Using the wine as an excuse, she deliberately bumped into him, spilling wine all over him. She quickly took out her handkerchief, gazing at him lovingly while wiping methodically. From afar, Hao Jiamei couldn't bear to watch. This trick is so old, it's making everyone uncomfortable. Just then, her phone buzzed with a message from Lu Chen. "Jiamei, come to the backyard." Hao Jiamei hurriedly rushed to the backyard without delay. Seeing Lu Chen, she quickly asked what was wrong. Lu Chen looked at her with tears in his eyes. "Jiamei, I just heard you got divorced." Hao Jiamei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Don't tell me this is your urgent matter." Lu Chen excitedly grabbed her hands. "Of course, if I had known you were divorced, I wouldn't have gotten married." Hao Jiamei was so shocked by his words she couldn't speak. Meanwhile, Jinling was grinding her teeth in anger at Chung Rui, kicking a tree. Damn, Chung Rui must be blind, actually liking a plain-looking woman with 2 kids. Unfortunately, upon arriving at the backyard, she saw Lu Chen holding Hao Jiamei's hands. This Hao Jiamei is actually juggling 3 men. She sneered inwardly. "I'll let everyone know your true face." Hao Jiamei finally came to her senses and pushed Lu Chen away. "What do you want?" Lu Chen said sincerely. "If you're willing, I'll stop this wedding." "I'm not willing, and I don't like you." She left hurriedly without looking back. In the backyard, Chung Rui saw Hao Jiamei appear and asked where she went. She explained she went to the bathroom. Chung Rui came to her side. "Jiamei, what kind of wedding do you want?" "I don't want a wedding." "No, we must have one." Looking at his domineering expression, she found it strange. Usually, it's the bride who wants a wedding and the groom who doesn't, but with him, it's completely the opposite. At this moment, the wedding ceremony officially began. Chung Rui looked at the bride in the venue. If it were were you in that wedding dress, you'd look even better. Feeling overwhelmed, she gestured him to lower his voice. The host's voice rang out. If anyone objects to this wedding, please stand up and state your reason. I know there won't be any. However, the next moment someone actually objected. Even more surprisingly, the objector was the bride herself. Everyone was completely confused. After his confusion cleared, Luchin finally spoke. Honey, what are you talking about? The bride was furious. I'm not talking nonsense. You even invited your mistress to the wedding. This is too much. What mistress? The bride pointed at Hao Jiamei. Hao Jiamei was bewildered by this sudden accusation. Classmates started whispering, what's going on? Is it true? It must be true. Luchin always liked Hao Jiamei. Seeing this ridiculous scene, Cheng Rui became angry. Standing in front of Hao Jiamei, he challenged the bride. Do you have evidence? The bride pointed at Jinling. I have a witness. Jinling was distressed. She was immediately exposed. Since she was called out, there was no choice. That's right. I saw Lu Chun holding Hao Jiamei's hands with my own eyes. What does holding hands prove? You were just getting handsy with me earlier. I didn't say anything. Jinling was furious. What nonsense are you talking about? Cheng Rui continued. You tried to seduce me and failed. So you're deliberately slandering Jiamei, right? Jinling was angry and embarrassed, wishing she could find a hole to crawl into. Everyone can see how Cheng Rui is protecting Hao Jiamei. That Hao Jiamei is a vixen, seducing men everywhere. Hao Jiamei, don't hide behind Cheng Rui. Come out if you dare. Seeing things had gone this far, Hao Jiamei knew it was impossible to avoid drama. Looking at Jinling, she said word by word, but what does any of this have to do with you? You keep asking these questions just because you're jealous of me. You see me doing well. Instead of trying to improve yourself, you try to smear me, wanting me to be as miserable as you. You even try to ruin someone's wedding. These words immediately sparked discussion among classmates. So Jinling just can't stand seeing others happy. Compared to Jinling, I'd rather believe Jiamei. Jinling was always petty. Hearing the discussions, Jinling was near breakdown. She angrily shouted at Hao Jiamei, saying all this won't clear your name. Just admit whether you had an affair or not. Hao Jiamei looked at her and stated righteously, 1. I'm divorced. 2. Lu Chun and I are just classmates. 3. I'm dating Cheng Rui. As she spoke, she leaned into Cheng Rui's embrace. Impossible. You're lying. Lying? Jinling, you think too highly of yourself. I explained all this not for you, but because I don't want to ruin Lu Chen's wedding. Then she looked at Lu Chen. Lu Chen, I have to go. Wish you happiness. Lu Chen waved. After leaving the wedding venue, Hao Jiamei complained of a headache. Cheng Rui hugged her tightly. I'm really happy you publicly acknowledged our relationship. That was because Jinling forced me. You took it seriously? It doesn't matter. I just heard you say I'm your boyfriend. Then he kissed her, preventing further explanation. Just as they were getting carried away, the phone rang. Cheng Rui complained. Who has such bad timing? Hao Jiamei checked her phone and was shocked. It's my mom. I knew she had someone watching us. Looks like she knows now. When Hao Jiamei answered the call, her expression changed, and she hurried back. Just as Hao Jiamei reached the door, her mother's angry shouts came from inside. Get out! I don't have a daughter like you anymore. It turned out Hao Jiaren was pregnant, but the father was already married. In other words, Hao Jiaren had become the other woman. But at this point, beating and scolding were useless. Hao Jiamei helped her sister up. Mom, this isn't entirely Jiaren's fault. Her mother exploded. If not her, then it's my fault? Blame me for not raising my daughter well, letting her get involved with a married man, and getting pregnant. I don't want to see you. Then she went into her room and shut the door. Hao Jiamei looked at Cheng Rui. What should we do? I'm worried about my sister being alone, and she can't go home right now. Cheng Rui blurted out. Why not let her stay across the street? One said he couldn't take it back. That foolish rich boy had exposed himself. Fortunately, Hao Jiamei wasn't in the mood to care about this, so Hao Jiaren was arranged to stay there. Looking at her sister on the bed, she softly comforted her. Stay here for now, so we can look after you. I'll talk to Mom. Hao Jiaren nodded. After settling her sister, she saw something was off with Cheng Rui. Cheng Rui took her hand. Looking at her lovingly, he said, I'm sorry. Seeing Jiaren like this makes me think about how hard it must have been for you, facing everything alone with your children. That's all in the past. I'm very happy now. They held each other tightly. I hope Jiaren can be as happy as I am. At dinner time, when Cheng Rui went to bring dinner to Jiaren, he was shocked the moment he opened the door. Jiaren had somehow found a knife and had cut her veins. She was immediately rushed to the hospital. By coincidence, Jinling saw them in the hospital corridor. Seeing Chung Rue involved in such gossip-worthy events, she immediately took out her phone and secretly recorded it. Completely unaware of this, Chung Rue and others sent Hao Jiamei to the operating room, both quickly supporting their swaying mother. "Mom, don't worry. Jiren will be fine. The doctor said there's no danger to her life." Mrs. Hao now felt somewhat regretful, blaming herself for saying such harsh words to Jiren. Hao Jiamei patiently consoled her. Chung Rue handed Jiren's phone to Mrs. Hao. "Annie, this is Jiren's phone." She did this after seeing someone's message. Mrs. Hao was startled, wanting to know who had hurt Jiren. It was from Jiren's boyfriend, Fu Xuechen. He had texted saying if Jiren loved him, she should prove it with her life. Mrs. Hao was furious. Chung Rue said, "Annie, if you trust me, let me handle this matter." A nurse came to ask for the medical fees. Chung Rue wanted to pay, but Mrs. Hao firmly refused. Chung Rue sighed. "Annie is so strong-willed. Yes, even my dad, an old military man, listens to my mom at home. Looks like to marry you successfully. I need to win over your mother first." Hao Jiamei twisted his ear. "Daydreaming again? Aren't you?" Chung Rue yelled in pain. "Gentle." Just then, a nurse came to report that the patient was awake. Jiren was crying as soon as she woke up. "Why save me? Just let me die." Hao Jiamei kept comforting her, afraid she might do something extreme again. Chung Rue spoke up. "Fu Xuechen would probably be happy if you died." Jiren looked at him through her tears. Chung Rue knew she was waiting for him to continue. "Isn't that right? A woman willing to die for him. He'd be thrilled to see his charm is so powerful." The previously suicidal Jiren immediately protested. "Xuechen isn't like that." Chung Rue persisted. "Then why did he ask you to prove your love through death?" Jiren was speechless, not knowing how to respond. Tears streamed down her face. Chung Rue knew his words were having effect and pressed on, moving closer, because he doesn't love you at all. He only loves himself. Jiren covered her face with both hands, shaking her head slightly. "It's not like that." Closing the door, Hao Jiamei frowned. Will sister understand? She knew Chung Rue's words were meant to make her sister give up. Chung Rue patted her gently. "She will, once she sees Fu Xuechen's true nature." "By the way, what are you planning to do about Fu Xuechen that you told Mom about?" "That's a secret." Hao Jiamei pouted slightly. "Secret? I don't even want to know." Chung Rue immediately hugged her, embarrassed. "Dear wife, how could I not tell you?" After hearing his plan, Hao Jiamei felt uneasy. Chung Rue gave her a reassuring look. "He dared to treat my wife's sister like this. Of course I'll make him pay." As they were talking intimately, Mrs. Hao walked over. "Chung Rue, I told you if I saw you with Jiamei, I would take Jiamei home." Chung Rue quickly bowed in response, thinking to himself, "If I want to date her daughter, I can't offend this mother-in-law. However, considering you saved Jiren, I'll let it go this time. But I still don't approve of your relationship." They both suddenly looked like frost-beaten eggplants. Little did they know that everything at the hospital was being secretly monitored by Jinling. She smirked coldly, determined to ruin Hao Jiamei's reputation this time. Hao Jiren's emotions had stabilized, and Mrs. Hao's heart was somewhat at ease. Just then, they heard hurried footsteps in the corridor. The door was pushed open, and a man entered, calling out Jiamei. Hao Jiamei on the bed heard the voice and sat up excitedly. "Xuechen!" But Fu Xuechen rushed in like a madman, grabbed her, and roared, "Jiren, did you report me to the school?" Jiren strongly denied. "No, I didn't." Chung Rue grabbed Fu Xuechen from behind and pushed him to the ground. Fu Xuechen angrily said, "What's this got to do with you? Mind your own business." Chung Rue threw a stack of documents at him. "This is my business. You're committing a crime. Jiren isn't your first victim of suicide instigation. Your actions constitute attempted murder. Get ready for prison." Fu Xuechen picked up the papers and read them carefully. His expression changed dramatically. He quickly knelt before Jiren. "No, I don't want to go to prison." "Jiren, let me explain. I didn't really want you to die. Look, you're fine now." Just as he finished speaking, a loud slap rang out. Hao Jiamei's hand landed squarely on his face. Chung Rue worriedly grabbed her hand. "Careful, you'll hurt your hand. Let the police handle this scum." Fu Xuechen, knowing he was wrong, didn't dare get angry and continued begging Jiren for forgiveness. Unexpectedly, Mrs. Hao stepped in and kicked the other side of his face. Then she smashed a chair to pieces. After venting her anger, she asked Chung Rue to drag him out of the room. Hao Jiamei looked at her grieving sister and comforted her. "Sister, such a beast isn't worth your tears." Jiren couldn't control her emotions anymore and hugged Jiamei, sobbing, "Jiamei, I envy you for having someone who truly loves you. Sister, you'll find someone too." Mrs. Hao was satisfied with how Cheng Rui handled things. The next day, after completing discharge procedures, they were stunned by explosive news upon reaching home. The headline read, "Sister Rivalry, Suicide Over Man." Cheng Rui immediately called SLI to have the trending topic removed. How Jiamei opened one of the videos. The romance between Hao's second daughter and the Mo family's young master once made countless girls envious. But life is like a beautiful robe infested with lice. How Jiamei, a mother of two, shamelessly had an affair with Yongxing CEO. Moreover, Yongxing CEO Cheng Rui was Hao Jiamei's sister's fiancé copyright. In other words, she had an affair with her future brother-in-law. After this double betrayal, Hao Jiren attempted suicide. Hao Jiren would rather be alienated than part with her lover, Cheng Rui. It's just pitiful how her two children will face their mother. Mrs. Hao was furious seeing these news reports. Who's spreading these lies? Nonsense. Jiren felt very guilty, blaming herself for causing this situation. But Hao Jiamei smiled and said, "Don't worry about it. This kind of gossip will blow over quickly." Then she pushed them inside to rest. After closing the door, she quickly sought out Cheng Rui. She said she didn't mind what happened to herself, but the children shouldn't have to hear such gossip. Cheng Rui assured her he would handle everything. Then he held her in his arms. Suddenly, "Allow, Mom. What are you doing?" They quickly jumped apart. Zifei stood there with clenched fists. Hao Jiamei noticed his dirty clothes and some scratches on his face. She asked what happened, but an angry Zifei refused to answer. Dudu, who had just returned, said brother got into a fight. Cheng Rui blurted out, "Why did you fight?" Zifei shouted, "None of your business." Hao Jiamei quickly scolded him for being rude. But Zifei just snorted at Chinyu, saying, "I hate him. I don't want to see him," before running to his room and slamming the door. While they stood there confused, the secretary explained that Zifei's classmates had seen the online video, which led to the fight. Understanding now, Cheng Rui secretly vowed to find who was behind this. At the hospital, Jinling scrolled through her phone, feeling extremely satisfied. Hao Jiamei, you must be suffering now. A colleague came to tell her the supervisor wanted to see her. A termination letter awaited Jinling. Jinling, someone reported you for leaking patient privacy. The hospital has decided to terminate you. Please hand over your work in the next few days. Jinling protested. Boss, I didn't do it. Someone must be framing me. Frame you? They traced the IP address and have surveillance footage from our hospital. They're planning to sue you. Better prepare yourself. Finally, Jinling left the hospital, walking dejectedly. A figure appeared before her. It was Cheng Rui. Why are you alone? Where's Hao Jiamei? Cheng Rui turned slightly, saying coldly, I'll handle ugly matters myself. Jiamei doesn't need to see this. Jinling snapped. Why does Hao Jiamei have so many people who love her? Because she's Hao Jiamei. She's not vicious like you. I can't fight against rich people like you. You've already removed the trending topic and deleted the posts. Why do you have to make me lose my job too? Cheng Rui laughed at her words. Don't you understand your mistakes? This is just the beginning. You'll find it very hard to get work from now on. All your evil deeds from childhood will be exposed online for netizens to judge. You'll feel the world's malice. Jinling's body trembled, and her belongings clattered to the ground. She collapsed onto the ground, full of regret. Hao Jiamei called out to Zifei again, come out for dinner, but the door remained closed. The nanny told Cheng Rui that Zifei hadn't eaten all day. Hearing the online issue was resolved brought some peace. But now Zifei's resistance was concerning. Cheng Rui also felt quite troubled. After Hao Jiamei's patient calling, the door finally opened slightly, revealing Zifei's head. I'm going on a hunger strike. Hao Jiamei said temptingly. You'll get very hungry, you know. I made your favorite sweet and sour ribs. Hearing this, Dudu ran out excitedly. Sweet and sour ribs? Where? I love sweet and sour ribs. Zifei gritted his teeth in anger, but thinking of his manly pride, he turned his head away. I'm not like Dudu, that little foodie. I can endure it. Hao Jiamei smiled at him. Then can you tell Mom why you're on a hunger strike? I want Uncle Chung to move out. Until he moves out, I won't eat. Dad's not coming home because he's here. I want Dad. Cheng Rui broke into a cold sweat behind them. Hao Jiamei said in a slightly scolding tone, Zifei, you can't threaten people like this. But despite Hao Jiamei's gentle persuasion, Zifei wouldn't listen, constantly asking for his dad. Cheng Rui stepped forward and said, I should leave. Hao Jiamei looked at him with guilty eyes. Cheng Rui forced a smile. indicating it was fine, then dragged his weak legs across the floor. Outside, he heaved a heavy sigh. Just when things had improved with his mother-in-law, now his son became the obstacle. He pulled out an engagement ring from his pocket. It seemed the proposal would have to wait. Time flew by, and soon it was New Year. Watching the two children playing, the family seemed happy together. How Jiame prepared New Year gifts for both children. A children's phone for each, hoping Dudu and Zifei would be healthy and happy in the new year. Happy and joyful. Zifei took the gift and said, "Mom, didn't you say you'd buy us phones in a few years?" How Jiame sensed trouble. This child was so observant. She stammered, "Uncle Chung bought these for you." The next moment, his phone was thrown to the ground. Zifei shouted, "I don't want anything from him," and ran to his room. The nanny shook her head helplessly. Zifei was so stubborn. Late at night, while Hao Jiame was putting the children to bed, her phone rang. She got up to leave, not knowing that Zifei wasn't asleep. He opened his eyes the moment she got up. Downstairs, she saw Chung Rui waiting. Chung Rui asked directly, "I heard from Zheng Song that Zifei didn't accept my gift." Hao Jiame smiled awkwardly. "He's very close to Xiao Qian. That's why he rejects you." "I know, I don't blame Zifei. I think if Zifei knew that I was his..." Before he could finish, Hao Jiame stopped him. "No, I know Zifei. This will only upset him more." Chung Rui sighed resignedly. "I'll listen to you." He suddenly looked up. "I have a gift for you too." He opened a gift box containing a sparkling heart-shaped necklace. Watching Chung Rui put the necklace on her, Hao Jiame felt warmth in her heart. This man was so good to her. Then she turned and told him she had a gift for him too. The next moment, she kissed him. They embraced each other. "Zifei is young. We need to comfort him slowly. I'll do as you say." Zifei saw everything from his hiding place. His clenched fists trembled. The next day, when Hao Jiame came to wake the children up, as she opened the door, she was shocked. Only Dudu was in bed. Zifei was nowhere to be seen. After searching every corner of the house without finding him, she hurriedly called Chung Rui. Chung Rui rushed over immediately, asking what happened. Hao Jiame handed over a note while crying. Zifei ran away. This is what he left. Chung Rui read it. "I'm leaving. Only children need comforting, but I'm not a child." Chung Rui said, "Could he have overheard our conversation last night?" "It must be that." "Chung Rui, what should we do? I can't let Zifei get hurt." Chung Rui quickly consoled her. "Stay calm. The urgent matter now is finding Zifei." The nanny came out and said, "Chung Rui, you're mainly responsible for this. But you're right. Now's not the time to be upset. We must find Zifei first." The good news is one phone is missing, meaning Zifei has it with him. But he's not answering calls. Chung Rui said excitedly, "Both phones I gave the children have GPS tracking. I can track them with my phone," he said while operating his phone. They quickly found his location, showing at the train station. They rushed there hurriedly. On the way, Chung Rui suggested sending text to Zifei. He might read text even if he won't answer calls. So Hao Jiame kept sending encouraging messages. After countless messages, finally, there was a response. Zifei's voice came through. "Mom, I don't want you to be with Chung Rui. Okay, if you come back, Uncle and Mom will separate. Don't treat me like a child and lie to me. Mom promises you." "Where are you?" "I'm on the second floor." "Zifei, don't move. Don't hang up. Mom's coming to find you." As they anxiously reached the second floor, the call suddenly cut off. The child wasn't there. Hao Jiame panicked. Chung Rui held her hand saying, "Don't panic. Let's check the surveillance." They went to the monitoring room and explained the situation. They quickly found that 1 minute ago, Zifei was dragged away by someone in black. Hao Jiame was completely lost, not knowing what to do. Then the phone rang. It was Zifei's phone. A strange man's voice came through. "I have your son. If you want him alive, prepare 50 million in ransom." "Who are you? Why did you kidnap Zifei?" Hao Jiame shouted anxiously. Chung Rui grabbed the phone. "Don't hurt the child. We'll agree to whatever you want." After hearing the conditions, Chun Sheng said firmly, "But if you touch a hair on Zifei's head, I'll make you wish you were dead." The voice replied they only wanted money, wouldn't harm the child. After hanging up, Chung Rui gestured to stay calm. The kidnapper said the exchange is tomorrow. "I suspect it's someone who knows us. 50 million isn't a small amount. If they didn't know who we are, they wouldn't risk asking for such high ransom. Hao Jiamei asked if he knew who did it. Cheng Rui shook his head. But we must find him and bring Zifei back safely. The next day, 50 million in cash was ready. While they waited anxiously, the phone finally rang. 8 p.m., East City Machinery Factory entrance for the ransom. Only one person can come. No police. I'll release him after receiving the money. Cheng Rui nervously said, money's not an issue. Just keep the child safe. As expected of a big CEO, throwing money around. Seems I asked for too little. At Cheng Rui's request, they heard Zifei's voice, which finally put them at ease. Cheng Rui comforted Jiamei, asked her to wait at home while he delivered the ransom. Said the kidnappers only wanted money. Once they got it, the child would be safe. Watching Cheng Rui leave, Hao Jiamei said tearfully, Cheng Rui, I regret it. If I hadn't left with Dudu and Zifei back then, we would have had 5 more years together. Cheng Rui smiled at her. Why do you sound like we're saying goodbye forever? Don't worry, Zifei will return. One day he'll accept me too. I am confident. Hao Jiamei nodded repeatedly. I believe that day will come too, but her heart felt cold. Would she even live to see it? Just earlier, she received a call. The person was aggressive, wanting not just money, but her life too. Zifei's safety depended on whether she was willing to die. Right after Cheng Rui left, Hao Jiamei followed suit. Following the instructions from the phone call, she arrived at an abandoned warehouse. A woman's voice came from the darkness. Hao Jiamei, you really dared to come. Seeing who it was, Hao Jiamei became angry. Jinling, why are you doing this? Jinling laughed coldly. Why? Because you and Cheng Rui made everyone turn against me, made my life worse than death. Now I'll let him taste the same feeling. Several men appeared around them. One of them looked at Hao Jiamei, drooling. Thought we were just getting money. Didn't expect to get a woman too. Hao Jiamei felt scared seeing the lustful men. A man grabbed her hand, chuckling. Hao Jiamei tried to struggle, but he was too strong. As he was about to make a lewd move, a fist emerged from the darkness, hitting his face. He screamed in pain. The newcomer stepped on his hand. Is this the hand that touched my wife? Hao Jiamei was startled. Why are you here? Cheng Rui glanced at her. I knew something was wrong. I put a tracker on you. A tracker. The other 2 thugs said. So what if you found us? Just one more to die. They charged forward, playing the hero. The next moment they clashed. After a series of punches and kicks, the 2 lay on the ground, barely breathing. Jinling, seeing this, shouted anxiously, we had a deal. Get the money and release him. Don't blame us for killing him. Cheng Rui said, 50 million is in the car outside. Get it yourself. Another 50 million, Zheng Song has taken to East City Machinery Factory. Is 100 million enough? Jinling was overjoyed. Her goal of 100 million was achieved. The men on the ground struggled up painfully, willing to resolve things peacefully. No one wanted to fight anymore. However, Jinling, even after getting the money, still held Zifei as a threat. Cheng Rui was angry. I've given you the money. What else do you want? Jinling's face twisted. What do I want? I want everything. I want money. I want you all to like me. Are you all blind? Why do you ignore me? Everyone swarms around Hao Jiamei like flies. At this point, Zifei began crying in fear. Seeing Hao Jiamei's anxious state, Jinling felt satisfied. If you want to save your son so badly, jump from here. She pointed downstairs. Hao Jiamei agreed without hesitation. Cheng Rui grabbed her. No, Jinling always goes back on her word. Even if you jump, she probably won't release Zifei. He suddenly turned to Jinling, shouting, I'm the one who made you lose your job. I'm the one who told all hospitals not to hire you. So you should hate me, not Jiamei. I'll jump instead of her. Jinling laughed loudly. Suddenly Zifei said, Uncle Cheng, don't jump. Cheng Rui paused. After a moment of silence, he said softly, Zifei, actually, I am your father. At these words, everyone, including Zifei, was shocked. Jinling laughed even harder. Haha, Hao Jiamei, you really are despicable. Cheng Rui, you don't need to jump anymore, because I've thought of a way to make you suffer 10 times, 100 times more. The next moment, she pushed Zifei down. Cheng Rui was horrified. In that split second, he leaped forward, grabbed Zifei, and they both fell. There was a loud thud as they hit the ground. Hao Jiamei screamed frantically. The ambulance quickly took them to the hospital. The doctor told Hao Jiamei the child wasn't seriously injured. The adult had protected him with his body, but he lost too much blood and his condition wasn't optimistic. Hao Jiamei begged the doctor to save him. The doctor said they would do their best, but the family should be prepared. Zifei tugged at the doctor's coat. "Doctor, if Uncle Ching needs blood, you can take mine." The doctor patted his head appreciatively. "You're a good child." Zifei burst into tears. "I'm not good. If I hadn't run away, Uncle Ching wouldn't be hurt." Hao Jiamei quickly consoled him, saying it wasn't his fault. After a long wait, the operating room door opened. The doctor came out saying the surgery was successful, but recovery depended on the patient himself. Hao Jiamei entered the ward, looking at the sleeping Cheng Rui. Tears fell as she kept stroking him. "You won't leave me and the children, will you?" She felt something hard under the pillow. Taking it out, she cried even more. He had already prepared to propose to her. When Cheng Rui's sister came, she saw how haggard Jiamei looked and became worried. She urged her to rest, fearing for her health. Hao Jiamei insisted she was fine. She kept waiting outside, thinking about the past, occasionally wiping tears from her eyes. Time passed. A nurse came to tell her that the patient was awake. Hao Jiamei immediately perked up. She rushed to the ward, but was met with Cheng Rui's cold face. She looked at him helplessly. Then she heard Cheng Rui's voice. "Hao Jiamei, let's break up." Hao Jiamei felt dizzy, as if struck by lightning. Zifei spoke up. "Cheng Rui, I was too willful before." Cheng Rui stroked Zifei's head. "You did nothing wrong. It's my fault for not taking good care of you both." Hao Jiamei held back her emotions. "We'll talk later. I'll take Zifei home to rest first." After they left, his sister couldn't help but scold. "Brother, have you lost your mind? Didn't you say Jiamei was everything to you?" Cheng Rui lowered his head and sighed. "Jiamei is the one I love most. She'll understand why I'm doing this." After leaving with Hao Jiamei, her mother couldn't help saying, "Did Cheng Rui hit his head too hard?" Hao Jiamei lifted her head stubbornly. "Cheng Rui is the one I love most. I know why he's doing this." Back home, before Hao Jiamei could rest, Duda pulled her aside, looking at her eagerly. "Mom, I heard Cheng Rui is my father." At this point, Hao Jiamei felt no need to hide it. "Yes, Dudu. Mom knows it's hard to accept." She thought he would react like Zifei, with anger and resistance. But unexpectedly, Duda jumped with joy. "That's great. Now I have two dads to love me." His reaction lifted Hao Jiamei's spirits considerably. Zifei ran over to pull Dudu away. "Don't bother Mom. She's already very tired." Looking at this scene, Hao Jiamei felt comforted. Dudu was the most optimistic child, Zifei the most sensible. "Mom's not tired." "Zifei, Du, Mom has something to tell you about your father." So under the children's anticipation, she recounted the past events. After finishing, Hao Jiamei took a deep breath. "That's how it is." Dudu opened his eyes wide and asked, "So Uncle Chung became my dad, and Dadamo became my uncle?" Zifei said, "After all Uncle Chung and Mom went through, why does he want to break up now?" Hao Jiamei didn't answer their questions, just saying she was tired. "I'll sleep for a while." Watching Mom enter her room, Dudu felt upset. If Dad and Mom's separate, I won't have any dad at all? Zifei pulled him close, saying, "Then let's find a way to get Mom and Dad back together." That night, Dudu went to Mom's bedside, saying he was hungry and wanted to eat out. Hao Jiamei agreed. Dudu secretly rejoiced. Step one of the plan succeeded. Hao Jiamei found it strange when Dudu, who said he wanted to eat here, suddenly disappeared. While she was searching, she saw Cheng Rui standing ahead. She asked why he was here. Cheng Rui said Zifei invited him, and she was brought here by the two children. She immediately realized they were trying to matchmake them. The two children hiding nearby clenched their fists. Step 2 succeeded. Cheng Rui couldn't hold back anymore, pulling Jiamei into his arms. "Jiamei, I won't let anyone hurt you, including myself. Zifei got hurt, and that hurt you. So I was afraid of hurting you again." Suddenly, Zifei ran out from hiding. "I wasn't hurt. Don't blame that on me." Hao Jiamei, wiping her tears, said, "I'm not afraid of getting hurt because I know you'll protect me." "Really, Jiamei? I will protect you forever. I love you." Hao Jiamei looked up. "Cheng Rui, this time you must marry me. The children and I are sticking with you for life." The two children cheered along. The sacred and solemn church was extraordinarily lively now, as a grand wedding was about to take place. This wedding could be said to be the grandest in the province. After all, it was the CEO of Yongxing's wedding. But it's almost 11 o'clock now. Why hasn't the wedding started yet? Could it be that the groom backed out? People had started various speculations. Meanwhile, the protagonists of this wedding were thoroughly enjoying a game of poker. The floor was a mess. After a while, following Chung Rue's trembling, how Jimei complained, "It's all your fault. You ruined my makeup." "Jimei, you look better without makeup anyway." Finally, under everyone's anticipation, the wedding officially began. The bride and groom walked in slowly. The groom was distinguished and elegant. The bride was fresh and graceful, dignified and elegant. What a perfect match, truly made in heaven. At this moment, Hao Jiamei was incredibly excited. "I can't believe we're getting married." The stories between them felt like they happened just yesterday. "I went to Jiangcheng because of Chen Weihao, but stayed in Jiangcheng because of Chung Rue. In Jiangcheng, I spent the happiest time of my life. After all the twists and turns, we'll definitely meet our destined one. He is my soulmate, my children's father. My happiness came neither too early nor too late." Chung Rue looked at her lovingly. "In every future I can imagine, you are there." Hao Jimei nodded with tears in her eyes. Under the priest's solemn voice, the two embraced tightly. From then on, they lived happily ever after.